It's time for live and local sports talk. It's the Sam Bourquin Show.
I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, meatball.
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM1310 WDPN.
Jose Ramirez, first pitch swinging, launches one high and deep to left. Does it have enough? Yes! Home run, Jose Ramirez into the bleachers. Drill, deep left. If it's fair, it's gone. She is out of here. Jose's second home run of the afternoon. And it's 6-4 Cleveland.
The pitch. Swung on line toward the gap in right center. It'll get down. Diving, though. Fry made the catch. David Fry racing to the gap in right center. Caught that sinking liner parallel to the ground just before he hit the ground. Friedel swings to right center. That's down to the gap, and the Reds are going to take the lead. Steer scores. Benson scores. Myers home. He's safe.
Oh, baby.
Clear them all. A stand-up three-run double by T.J. Friedel, and the Reds again come off the mat in the ninth.
2.7 left. Baseball pass down court. Holmgren on the catch. Gets it away in time. And hits at the buzzer. He's got a chance.
Matt Fitzpatrick has won the RBC Heritage for a second time in a playoff.
Well, another busy week of sports, a busy weekend, and we are here and ready to go. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome in to the Sam Bourquin Show, AM1310 WDPN. We're streaming live all over on the WDPN Facebook page, X page, the Q92 Radio YouTube channel. And don't forget, we have the Q92 Radio chat room open as well. You can also listen and follow the show on the Q92 Sports Facebook page. You can check out the Sam Bourquin Show page as well on Facebook. And you can also give me a follow on Twitter, X, or TikTok at Sam Bourquin 16. So we are here, Sam Bourquin on this side of the glass, Ryan Rainsberg opposite, in another humongous weekend to talk about. Guardians, Cavs, Stanley Cup, Ohio State spring game, WrestleMania. I know a lot of you were watching that over the weekend that took place out in Las Vegas. High school sports this weekend. We had some crazy weather. We've got another frost warning coming up tonight. Lots of stuff going on, and we're here for you. We're here with you, all of us together, until 6 o'clock this evening. Let's get the phone lines out there to you. 330-821-1310. That's 330-821-1310. You can always text the show at 330-924-7088. And don't forget the Q92 Radio YouTube channel. We got the chat open. And if you stop by, hang out with us there for a little bit, make sure that you are hitting the subscribe button when you are there. We got our poll question today. Sammy B's best bet on this day in sports history. We are loaded up on this Monday afternoon. Good day for a hoodie today. Holy smokes, another frost warning coming up tonight. And for those of you that were wondering, I did get the grass mowed Friday night, and I got it in just before it got dark. We had our long, fruitful discussion on the air Friday about sundown and dusk and when does it really get dark and this and that and the other. And I just got her done about 11 minutes after 8 o'clock on Friday. And it was just about dark. But we got it done, and now it needs done again. So Got in just under the wire there. I was proud of myself. I almost took a photo and posted. Said, we'll do that. We'll do that another day. So coming up tonight, you got the Guards and Astros beginning a 3-game series at Progressive Field. Right across the alley, you've got the Cavs and Raptors, Game 2 of the NBA's opening round of the playoffs. You've got the Cleveland Browns getting ready for the NFL draft taking place in Pittsburgh on Thursday, the first of 3 big draft days for the Browns and the NFL, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. OSU spring game was Saturday. Oh, we got ourselves another beautiful, talented, game-breaking wide receiver, Chris Henry Jr. Oh, my goodness. How good is this kid going to be? You know, when Jeremiah Smith leaves after one more year, Chris Henry's going to step right in, and he'll be. I don't want to put the hex on him, but I'll tell you what, this kid's going to be really, really good. They just keep coming. It's Ohio State. It's like a lot of the big power programs. You lose a bunch of studs, you lose a bunch of kids to the NFL, and another group of 10 to 15 to 20 come walking through the door. That's just how it is. But boy, is he going to be something. Wow. I didn't watch a lot of the spring game, but I watched enough. I watched enough to know and see what was going on. By the way, we're going to talk to Marcus Hartman today from Press Pros Magazine at 4:10. We'll talk a little Ohio State spring game. And we'll also talk with Marcus about the possible next big set of renovations for the Horseshoe, the Ohio Stadium. Lots of stuff kind of going on behind the scenes there. We'll talk to Marcus coming up here at 4:10. 3:35 this afternoon. Fred Greetham from the Orange and Brown Report. We'll talk Cleveland Browns. We will talk NFL draft. And we'll see what Fred thinks the Browns are going to do on Thursday once that time rolls around for that 6th pick in the draft. And I heard a couple of more whispers over the weekend. I still think there's a little baby chance that Myles Garrett will not be on this team when we start coming up here this August. It's not a huge chance, but I still think there is a percentage that he will not be here. We'll see. I'm just kind of throwing that out there. Our poll question today kind of revolves around what you all did this weekend. And the poll question is, which sports programming did you watch the most of this past weekend? Guardians, Major League Baseball, Cavs NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, Ohio State spring game, and I also threw in WrestleMania. I know we can only fit 4 on the screen. If you go take the quiz over on the Facebook, I give you 5. But what'd you watch the most of this weekend? Guards, Cavs, Stanley Cup playoffs, OSU spring game, or WrestleMania? At AM1310 WDPN. You can take the poll question there. You can also drop your comments on the Q92 Radio YouTube channel. We got the chat up. We got the poll question up there in the top left-hand corner. Go ahead and just vote away. A lot of great interaction already on Facebook and X. Pretty spread out too. A lot of you watch the Guards. A lot of watch the Cavs. A lot of people watch WrestleMania. Holy cow! I didn't. I guess WrestleMania is still as popular as it's ever been. A lot of people watched it. And, of course, the hardcore Buckeye Nation was watching the Ohio State spring game.
Yeah, I think a lot of people just kind of age out of the WWE.
You know, I watched a little bit.
Yeah, I did too when I was like a teenager.
And I mean, I watched, you know, the first one that I remember watching was at the Pontiac Silverdome. And I think this might have been around 87, 88. That was the first time that I ever watched WrestleMania. And then I would watch a little bit of it the subsequent years. And then I just kind of grew out of it. I've tried to bring myself to watch. And I did watch a little bit this weekend, very little. And it just, I don't know. It just didn't do anything for me. I think I'm just kind of done with that part of that. But a lot of people watched. Holy cow, I couldn't believe how many people watched. And now, WrestleMania used to be a one-day event. Now it's 2. Heck, I think it was 3 a couple years ago.
Wow.
So this past year, it was Saturday. Well, this weekend, it was Saturday and Sunday. And they had it was in Vegas this year where the Raiders played Allegiant Stadium. Place was packed. And I guess the numbers were pretty good as far as people watching. But I probably watched 10 minutes of it. And that was this doesn't do anything for me anymore.
Yeah, I feel like
I'm probably out of that demo. I don't know. Maybe I kind of grew out of the whole wrestling thing anyway.
Yep.
And I think it's when you go away from it, watching it a couple of nights a week, whether it was Monday Night Raw or Saturdays or whatever, and then you kind of forget about, the big events that they have during the year. They have about 3 or 4 or 5 really big ones, and then it all, culminates with the WrestleMania. And I just kind of grew out of it. I'm not drawn to it anymore. I feel like I'm apologizing for not watching WrestleMania, but I'm not. I don't know. It's just kind of not my thing anymore.
I think it kind of feels like you're hopping into the middle of a show in the middle of a season, and you just kind of have no idea what all the storylines are.
Yeah, that's
you have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know any. I saw that John Cena was the host. I saw that I just watched a little 15-20 second clip of a video. One of the real big personalities. This was it for him. I can't remember his name now. For God's, I just watched it 15 minutes ago, and I already forget the guy's name. But I'm like, oh wow, okay. But yeah, that was it. But I guess a lot of you watched. But what did you watch on TV this weekend the most? What did you spend the most time watching? Guardians, Cavs, Stanley Cup playoffs, Ohio State pre-game, spring game, or WrestleMania? Get those comments in, and we'll make those a big part of our show here.
Hall of Fame City says Brock Lesnar.
That's who it was, Brock Lesnar. Yeah. So I guess now here's the other thing with wrestling. I don't know what to believe. I don't know what's, I mean, I know what's real and what's fake, but as far as the storylines, I mean, is Brock Lesnar is he done? Was that it for him? It's that kind of stuff. I just don't know like I used to.
Yeah. From my perspective, I feel like I mean this in a very uninsulting way. I actually mean this as a compliment, but wrestling and Cirque du Soleil are kind of in the same vein of, it's like athletic. You're watching people do stunts. They're all, jumping around. They're hitting each other. It's kind of what it feels like to me. It's a show.
Yeah, sure.
It's a spectacle.
It is. Yeah, it is a show. But I just, like I said, the first WrestleMania I watched, it was with about 4 or 5 of my best friends going through high school. And I think somebody's mom or dad chipped in, and because it was pay-per-view. That's the only way we could get it. And we watched it. Oh, God, I'm going to watch this every year. I watched it a couple more times than I was done. So, and I guess I'm not a real big fan of the way ESPN puts it on. I liked it when it was truly pay-per-view. And it was the WWF or the WWE kind of putting it on. ESPN's kind of ruined it for me a little bit. 24 minutes past the hour. We're going to take our first break of the afternoon. 330-821-1310. That's our telephone number. You can get the chat in on the Q92 Radio YouTube channel. We got the poll quiz going today. We got lots of stuff to get into. Guards had a pretty good weekend. Austin Hedges had a really nice weekend. Got engaged yesterday. Some good, cool news there. Cavs and Raptors getting ready for game 2 tonight. We got the draft coming up. We got some special guests today. All that and more. So here we go. 1310 WDPN.
AWP Safety, North America's leading traffic safety company, wishes the best of luck to Stark County student athletes this fall, and they need you. Join AWP as a protector for steady work and an important job keeping people safe. They offer paid training, certification, referral bonuses, and advancement opportunities. To apply, visit jobs.awpsafety.com. That's jobs.awpsafety.com.
Kids across America are going to school hungry. Millions of kids every day. Hungry kids get sick more often and can struggle in school. It can be harder for them to focus and learn. But one simple thing can help change all of this for a hungry child in America. Good, healthy food and the energy it brings. With help from caring people across America, No Kid Hungry is providing healthy meals and hope to hungry kids so they can build better futures.
We want to ensure that all of our kids have healthy meals every day.
Thank you.
Thank you for helping feed our kids.
To learn more about ending child hunger in America, go to helpnokidhungry.org today.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other. Leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
Everybody's oh so sweet. You gotta make it hot. Like a boomerang, I need a repeat.
1310 WDPN. Welcome back to the Sam Bourquin Show. Phones are open, 330-821-1310. Fred Greetham from the Orange and Brown Report coming up at 3:35. We're going to get into the Browns, the NFL drafts. What do you think Cleveland's going to do at 6:24? Will they trade back? Will they trade out? Will they make a big splash move? Will they take a quarterback at some point during the draft? What's the quarterback room looking like?
I swear to God, if they take a quarterback during the draft, sorry, that aggravates me. They shouldn't do that.
Oh, that's funny. I wonder what's going through the minds of, the quarterbacks, Shador and Watson and Gabriel. I wonder what's really going on in the mind of Todd Monken. Who does this guy like? I'm having a tough time getting a read on him. I don't know if he tries to come off as like a hard-ass kind of a coach. And I don't know. I don't know if that's really him. I think that's kind of what the Browns need. But if it's, I don't know if it's a little fake and phony and rehearsed, I don't know if that's good. Players can read the room. They know what's going on. They can tell. I mean, does he like one of these quarterbacks in camp? Does he want to go a completely different avenue? Does he understand? I'm pretty sure he understands now the issues and the problems and the failures that this organization has had with quarterbacks over the decades. I just wonder if he's planting his flag with one of these guys in the room, or he just wants to start over, go out the box and bring somebody in. How's he feel about Myles Garrett? Thing is, you just don't ever get those. You just don't get those kind of questions answered in a timely manner or a truthful manner. Like, we can sit here and speculate and assume all we want, but we really don't know. Maybe we find out a lot on Thursday, or maybe we don't find out anything. Maybe it's going to take the whole 3 days, and we kind of figure out the direction this team wants to go. And look here, can Andrew Berry hit another home run for the second year in a row? I mean, this past draft for Andrew Berry and the Browns was pretty good. Was it the greatest draft of all time? Certainly not. But if you compare to what he has done up until then, that was his best draft. Can he do it again for the second year in a row? Lots to unpack there. News and weather coming up next. Stay with us on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN.
Here's the latest news on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 3:30. President Trump said Sunday the Navy blew a hole in an Iranian-flagged cargo ship before seizing the vessel. Sunday afternoon, Trump said the guided missile destroyer USS Spruance intercepted the vessel identified as the Tuska in the Gulf of Oman after it attempted to breach the blockade. Video released by U.S. Central Command confirmed the encounter, showing repeated warnings issued over several hours. CENTCOM said the Tuska was warned multiple times over a 6-hour period while sailing toward Iran's Bandar Abbas port before U.S. forces disabled its propulsion using its 5-inch Mk-45 gun, after which Marines boarded and secured the vessel, which remains in U.S. custody. 8 young people were killed early Sunday in Shreveport, Louisiana. The suspected shooter is also dead. He was identified as the children's father, 31-year-old Shamar Elkins. 10 people were struck by gunfire, according to police spokesperson Chris Bordelon. He described the incident as domestic in nature. The ages of the deceased range from 1 to approximately 14 years old. Some of the injured have been hospitalized. The man's wife was shot in the face and left fighting for her life. Another woman, thought to be his girlfriend, was shot at a nearby home. Elkins later fled and carried out a carjacking before being chased by police. Officers opened fire. He died at the scene. It's unclear if he was shot by police or died by suicide. 5 people were injured, including 3 University of Iowa students, in an early Sunday shooting. Videos posted to social media show a fight in the street that escalated to shots fired. University issued an alert at 1:51 a.m., advising the public to stay away from the area. One of the injured was in critical condition. The other 4 are stable, according to police. No arrests have been made. Police also released information about 5 people of interest. The Iowa City Pedestrian Mall reopened Sunday morning. Japan issued an advisory for northern coastal areas for an increased risk of a possible larger quake following a 7.7 magnitude earthquake earlier Monday. The Cabinet Office and Japan Meteorological Agency said there's a 1% chance for a large quake occurring in the area over the next week or so. That's up from a 0.1% chance during normal times. The agency issued a tsunami alert following the tremor. A small tsunami was reported in some areas. 1 injury was reported. Nearly 1 in 10 births in 2023 in the United States came from illegal immigrant parents. The Pew Research Center revealed some 320,000 of the 3.6 million babies born that year were so-called anchor babies who would not qualify for birthright citizenship if President Trump's executive order is upheld by the Supreme Court. Pew found about 245,000 of those babies were born to mothers who were unauthorized immigrants and fathers who were not citizens or lawful permanent residents. About 15,000 were born to mothers who had temporary legal status and fathers who were not citizens or lawful permanent residents. The anchor baby births in 2023, the highest total since 2010, second year of the Obama administration. 325,000 babies were born to illegal immigrant parents. 45 degrees at 3:33 for WDPN News. I'm Clint Marshall.
Here's Mark Johnson's forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
Mainly sunny skies for your Monday afternoon. A chill in the air all day long, a high of 44 degrees. Overnight clear and starry, another freeze warning in effect. Our low 28. I am Mark J. Weather from 3 News.
AM1310 WDPN. Welcome back to the Sam Bourquin Show. Phone lines are open 330-821-1310. Don't forget you can always watch and listen to the show. WDPN, Facebook, X, the Q92 Radio YouTube channel. Make sure you hit that subscribe button there as we are just about ready to go. Rainsburg, we all set? We are all set. All right, here we go. Let's get into some Browns and some draft talk as we are finally here in draft week. Thursday night, the fun begins. Let's bring on Freddie Greetham from the Orange and Brown Report, kind enough to join us here on the Sam Bourquin Show on this Monday, 1310 WDPN. Fred, good afternoon. Thanks for coming on. How you doing today?
Doing good, Sam. It's draft week. It's the Browns fans' Super Bowl because every year this is the chance to think they're going to get it right.
One of these years, Freds, we're going to look at this draft. We're going to go, it's so not important. We're coming off of a Super Bowl championship. Life is good. But until then, this is how it's going to be. All right, another huge draft. And as I mentioned a couple of minutes ago before I signed off before the bottom of the hour, Andrew did a pretty nice job last year with the draft. What are the chances he's able to strike gold for the second year in a row and really start to build this team up through the NFL draft?
Well, that's one of the goals. In fact, I think that's one of the reasons he was kept when Kevin Stefanski was let go, because of last year's draft. I mean, if you look up until last year, the first 5 years, I had him with his first 37 picks, really only hitting on maybe 5 guys. And what I mean by that guys that contributed or were starters. And obviously didn't have 3 first-round picks, but that was partly because he traded them away. But the best pick, in the first 5 years, in my opinion, was JOK. He's the only one that made the Pro Bowl. And unfortunately, his injury, really put the Browns, in a setback, and good chance he won't play again. They had to go get Carson Schlesinger, which looks like a real good pick. But last year's draft, the first 4 picks looked like really good players. When you look at Mason Graham, Carson Schlesinger, NFL Rookie of the Year, and then Quinshon Judkins, and you throw in Harold Fannin, Dylan Sampson, and even Shedeur Sanders. You started the last 7 games. So you need to do something like that again, especially in those first 4 picks, the top 70. I really think they need to get some really, if you can do the same thing and get quality 4 guys there that start right away or real close, I think that will be a long way to go with last year's core and some of the young guys. So I think the spotlight is on Andrew Berry. I think he does want to trade down. I mean, who wouldn't? When you look at the early returns on trading just 3 spots, sure, you lost out on Travis Hunter, but you picked up Graham and Quinshon Judkins and Dylan Sampson, and then to be determined what they do with the 24 pick this year. So, but the question is, do you have any takers? Do you have anybody really excited to move up and get somebody at your spot at 6? And threading the needle is you don't want to go down too far because there's only so many elite players. And if you go down, even to 12, trading with the Cowboys, it's my opinion that there's a very good chance you wouldn't get the best wide receiver or you wouldn't get the best offensive tackle at 12, and you might have that chance to get whoever you have highest on your board at 6. So it all depends on the offer and what, how desperate another team is.
Fred Greetham is our guest. Check him out on social media at Fred Greetham9. Fred does a great job with the Orange and Brown Report. This has kind of always been a pre-draft question. What are the chances so-and-so stays at this pick? What are the chances so-and-so trades back, trades out? With the Raiders, Jets, Cards, Titans, the first 4, I would think that those teams are going to they're going to lean in and they're going to make their selections there. And then once it gets to 5, I don't know. I think the Giants could maybe do some things. I know the Browns could probably do some things. And you bring up the fact, how far back do you want to trade back? What's the value that you're going to get in return if you would make a move there? Fred, I'll just ask you, what do you want the Browns to do / what do you think that they will do?
Yeah, I'm putting a projection together right now, and I just don't think you want to overthink this. Why did you fire Kevin Stefanski, and why did you hire Todd Monken? To get the offense in check. You scored 15 points a game last year, 31st in the NFL. You need offensive players, and you need weapons. I realize they've attacked the offensive line, but they have not addressed wide receiver. And to think they didn't do it last year either until, after training camp started, they got Isaiah Bond, which could be a good pickup, but there were some other reasons. They didn't draft anybody. This year, they didn't trade for a wide receiver. They did not sign a wide receiver as a free agent. To me, you don't have to overthink this. I see 3 wide receivers at the top of the draft. I think you take whoever you have as the best one. Personally, I would take Carnell Tate. I think he's very steady, very consistent, and he's going to help your wide receiver room. If he's not the number 1, he's going to push Jerry Jeudy or be, your number 2. So I just really think that's what I would do. I think there are enough tackles that are close that you could use your second pick to take a tackle, a left tackle, and hopefully solve that problem. If you trade down, you might not get whoever you have as the highest wide receiver, or you still might not get the highest offensive tackle. Both those positions they need to address. I would do it in the first round. So that means they'll take 2 defensive players like they did last year.
Fred Greetham. Oh, I can tell you've been doing this a long time. Fred Greetham.
They never do what I think they should do or project. So it's always I kind of am always logical and trying to think what they really need. And I've said last year they really need to address the offensive line and wide receiver, and they didn't do either in the draft. So you got to take a wide receiver, in my opinion, higher than the 3rd round. The highest one they've drafted is Cedric Tillman in the 3rd round, 74th overall. And all you have to do is look at the Bengals, what they did with Joe Flacco. A lot of people thought Joe Flacco was done last year in the first few games. They traded him to the Bengals. He looked pretty good. He kind of looked like he did when he was here a couple of years ago with the Browns. Because it shows you what the difference throwing to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins is. Maybe there's not a Jamar Chase in this draft, but there's at least a T. Higgins or 2 in this draft.
Oh, yeah.
And if you have Shedeur Sanders or whoever throwing to those type of guys, they might look a lot better, and you might have a better read on what you have in Shedeur Sanders or Dylan Gabriel or even Deshaun Watson if they go that route.
Yeah, oh God, and we'll get into that in a minute. At this point, Fred, obviously, we need wide receivers. We need some playmakers. We also probably need some offensive linemen, and maybe more than one. Do we know what Joel Bitonio is going to officially do? And I guess based on whether he stays or whether he hangs him up, how imperative is it for this team to come out of this draft, at least maybe in the first 2 days, with a couple of good linemen?
Yeah, I think that's right at the top. In fact, in their top 39, those 3 picks, I would take 2 wide receivers and an offensive tackle, or I'd take 2 offensive tackles, 2 offensive linemen and a wide receiver, because they have to have a good idea on what Bitonio's thinking, even though they're saying they don't. I don't know if he's waiting until the draft to see what they have, if he's still trying to see if the team, where they're going, but they have to make plans like he's not around. And they've really signed Zion Johnson, Elton Jenkins. The coach said they wanted him to play guard. So that's at least 2 guards they've signed. in free agency, and they could always move Jenkins to center. But I just think that you have to address the offensive line. You know, if Bitonio does play, this is probably his last year, if it wasn't last year. And then the rest of the offensive line, you know, they did sign guys to play at good contracts, but they're all like in the 30. So they just didn't get spring chickens. They got veterans in their 7th, 8th year, which they're hoping, you know, solidifies the line. So I think you have to address the offensive line. I can't believe they did not last year, especially with the guys going into their final year of their contract. So I wouldn't have a problem with 2 offensive linemen in the first round, but you got to get weapons. And I really would like to see a top class wide receiver, you know, coming in with at least a couple offensive linemen. You got those first 5 picks in the top 107. We saw last year you got Fannin at 79, and, you know, that's a good player. So in the 3rd round, I think those first 4 picks, 70 and under, you have a chance to really get 4 good players. And I wouldn't have a problem with 2 offensive linemen, 2 wide receivers.
I wouldn't either, Fred. I will plant my flag in the ground right there. That would, to me, that would be a very, very wise and a very good draft for the Cleveland Browns. Fred Greetham, our guest. Check him out at Fred Greetham 9. Does a great job covering the Browns. Orange and Brown Report. Todd Monken. I'm having a tough time trying to read Coach Monken a little bit. And I don't know if that's going through the minds of a lot of you guys that cover the Browns on a daily basis. I don't know if he's going to, you know, go on the hill of one of the quarterbacks he already has. Does he want to start new? What kind of a read do you get on Coach Monken and what he would like to do as far as getting his hands dirty as far as the draft and future moves this club's going to make?
Well, that's still $1 million question. We thought maybe when free agency kicked off, they would start tipping their hand. But this doesn't mean they didn't inquire. But I heard absolutely no leaks that they were interested or going after the Kyler Murrays, the Tuas, the you name it, free agents or quarterbacks supposedly available in trades. And so that leads you to believe they were okay with what they had, what they've said the company line is. We're going to compete, see what we have. The only avenue left, now sure, they can do something after. They can sign a veteran, you know, just to come in and, you know, come into camp. But the only word we've got from Andrew Berry and Monken is they're going to compete, is that the NFL draft's coming up. I would be very shocked if they really like Ty Simpson to the point that they want to take him in the first round. Personally, that would be a mistake. I think you don't need to bring in if you bring in a Ty Simpson in the first round, the pressure's going to be on him to start, even if it's at 24. They don't need another developmental quarterback that high. If you're going to take a quarterback, I would take one if someone gets left down the road, like a Nussmeier, an Aller, Beck, somebody like that. But I wouldn't even be opposed to bringing in undrafted quarterback, somebody at the end of the draft, if you want, as a camp arm, 4th guy. With that being said, that leads you to believe that they're going to go into camp, you know, with 3 guys, really 2 competing for the starting job. Tomorrow is the first time that we will be on the field being able to watch practice. It's going to be it's an extra mini camp since Monken's a first-year coach. They chose it this week. So they actually, even though it's only the 2nd week of OTAs, or they're allowed to get on the field. So we'll see who's out there lining up with the first team. It won't mean a lot. I expect it to be Shedeur Sanders because he has said the way things finished. With that being said, a lot of it will be written about that, how they look, but this is like the first practice in a first offense, but it'll at least start to get an idea. And Todd Monken really should keep it close to the vest. He should not be anointing Shedeur Sanders the starting quarterback, you know, in March or April. He wants him to compete. He wants him to do, see what he has. Nor should he do Watson. But when they get out there, it's going to lay the groundwork of what. And so I think one of the reasons they picked this week to have a mini camp is that there's 3 days on the field, and the third day is the day of the draft. So if there's somebody they're not quite sure about, maybe even though it's not in pads, they might say, okay, let's go get this position, because maybe they don't feel as good about what they see on the field. So that's kind of the way I read it, but nobody really knows until they start drafting, what they really feel about, especially at the quarterback. If they don't draft a quarterback at all and go in and it just stays with the 3 and they add an undrafted rookie or something like that, then it's going to be Sanders or Watson, in my opinion, starting the season in September.
Yeah. Fred, I am fascinated to see who Monken hitches his wagons to as far as this quarterback room. Not only is it, we don't really know, but I can't wait to see how this finally plays out because of all the storylines and everything that has gone on here in the last couple of years. If there is a team, Fred, that comes to the Browns with, a crazy, crazy draft scenario that they really like, maybe a team like Dallas or maybe somebody else, what kind of package would you want to see in return for giving up the 6 or maybe the 6 and a player or another combination of something else?
Well, I mean, you look at the Bengals gave up, their number 1 pick, 10 overall, to get Dexter Lawrence, great player, 28-29. I mean, it's going to have to be, that type of player if you get a veteran. If you are just trading draft picks, like I said, I really don't want to go outside the top 10. You want to get a difference maker. And it might not be an offensive player. I mean, if there's somebody that they look at, whether it be Caleb Downs, Arvell Reese, David Bailey, Sonny Styles, if they're sitting there at 6, I'm going to hold a hostage. And I want not only their first round pick this year, but I would want something next year, at least a second round pick next year, if you're trying to go into next year's loaded up, if all things being said. So, I mean, it really comes down to where is the pick going to be. I heard the reports about swapping Dallas, 6 and 39 for 12 and 20. I don't even like that, because I don't like 12. Like I said, you're getting the second best wide receiver probably, or the second best offensive tackle or lower. And then at 20, it's probably somebody that you could have got, at 24. Yeah, you get that extra pick. So it really comes down to how highly rated they have and what's available. If Jeremiah Love's there and somebody will give you, the 8th pick, 9th, 10th pick, and you get next year's first round or something like they did with the Graham deal. I don't know if that would happen. Then you got to consider it. But as far as, I just think at the top of the draft is where you get big time players.
Yeah, and we love our draft picks. When I say we, I mean Northeast Ohio and Cleveland Browns. We love our draft picks, but at some point you've got to turn that into money. You've got to turn it into guys that can go out and play for 5, 8, 10, 12 years and give yourselves a chance to compete and go play for the big piece. Fred Greetham is our guest, Orange and Brown Report. Check him out at Fred Greetham 9 on all your social media platforms. Fred, I almost hate to ask this, but I had a couple conversations with a couple friends over the weekend that are pretty big Browns fans, and they're getting a little discouraged. One actually canceled his season tickets over the weekend I thought he would never do it. Do we expect Myles Garrett to be on this team and suited up and ready to move forward here for this fall? 100%.
Yeah, I would. I don't know why you wouldn't. I mean, you were talking about Browns fans love their draft pick. I get the questions on my show and throughout as far as, hey, what if you get 3 first rounds for Myles? Yeah. Okay, you're going to draft 29th to 32nd. I went through the last 5 years, and players 28 to 32. If you could take 5 of them, you wouldn't trade them for Myles Garrett. I mean, they're good players, but they're not first ballot Hall of Famers. How does that help you get better unless it solves your quarterback issue? I went through the projected, say, 32 starting quarterbacks this year, and I doubt if a team, if you ask them, you could have Myles Garrett, give us your quarterback, you would probably not get. In fact, in my little exercise, I said that team would not give up their starting quarterback until you got down into the mid-20s. When you're talking about the unproven, up-and-coming quarterback that they're starting because of potential. So I don't know how that makes you better, to be honest. I know they redid the contract, and there's really only one reason to do it. But he has a no-trade clause. Why would he want to go to a team that's drafting first, second, third overall? He wants to go to the team that is expected to go to the Super Bowl or whatever. So, and plus, if you trade him, you can't trade him till June, and then you're talking about next year's draft. So I think he's going to be somebody that everybody be interested, even if it's next year before the draft. And if he's the piece that would make sure that you could draft to get a franchise quarterback, okay, then I'd listen to it.
Fred Greetham, our guest. Hey, before we let you go, will you be heading over to Pittsburgh to cover the draft, or will you be at the Greetham headquarters checking things out?
Well, I'll be at Berea at the Browns headquarters the whole weekend. The OBR is doing a live stream from the kickoff of the draft, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, nonstop. We started this a few years ago, and people thought we were crazy, but yeah, that'll be wall to wall. We have a bunch of guests lined up for that. But as far as I'll be in Berea, kind of giving live shots, to various outlets and as well as our live stream. So
very good.
That's a marathon, and we'll be there wall to wall.
Yeah, so people can check it out, the Orange and Brown live stream. When will you guys start that? What time?
A half hour before it kicks off on Thursday night. So I think that's like 7:30, because I think the draft begins at 8 or whatever it is. It's a half hour before the draft kicks off. I think it's 7 o'clock on, maybe it's 7 o'clock on Thursday night, the draft. And I don't know, one night it's 8 and one night it's 7. So
all over the place.
I'm just there early for the food. So you know how that goes.
That's right. Well, Fred, we appreciate you coming on today. Hopefully this will be another good, solid draft for the Browns here, back-to-back years, and somehow we can maybe get this thing going in the right direction. Fred Greetham, always appreciate the time. Enjoy the draft, and best of luck covering it.
Thanks, Sam.
There he goes. Fred Greetham, you got it. Fred Greetham from the Orange and Brown Report. Lots going on. Lots goes into this thing. When you got 32 teams, most of them, and I say most of them, are trying to get better. They're trying to make a move. They're trying to get their guy. They're trying to get a couple of their guys. They want to turn the fortunes of the franchise around. Or maybe they're just one draft away and one free agency period away from going to the Super Bowl. And then there's everybody else in between. High stakes poker, man. It's high stakes poker. And you better know what you're doing, because things happen at the drop of a hat. The phones are ringing. The texts are flying. The phone calls are coming in. And you got to be ready to perform. When you hear that jingle, you got to be ready to go. And with the Browns, new head coach, a little bit of a new philosophy. Interesting to see what happens here in the draft in 2026. I don't know what they're going to do. I kind of like what Fred says. Just get me out of here. Give me a couple of linemen and a couple of wide receivers. And if I can, and I'm talking about high-quality starters, if I can come out of the draft with 4, like, no doubters, especially on the offensive line, combined with the wide receiver core, I'll be ecstatic, because I think that's the two most important parts of this team right now. And we could talk about, running backs and quarterbacks and safeties and linebackers and all that, but man alive, you got a couple of things you got to fix quickly. And wide receiver and O-line are the two big ones. So we'll see how it all shakes out. All right, we're going to take a break. We got the news. We got the weather coming up. 1 hour in, 2 more big hours to go. Keep it here, 1310 WDPN.
The latest news and the current Alliance area weather forecast are up next on AM 1310 WDPN Alliance.
News. I'm Michelle Franzen. President Trump telling Bloomberg extending the deadline for a ceasefire beyond Wednesday is highly unlikely. That as the second round of talks between the U.S. and Iran hangs in the balance. The Strait of Hormuz still closed off to most traffic. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze says that's driving gas prices up further.
They say the total amount extra that Americans are paying now is $21.3 billion in gas. That is a big number when you're thinking about just this increase in a very short amount of time, how much these prices have gone up. And the reality is that it is going to take time for them to come back down.
The singer known as David set to be arraigned today in Los Angeles on murder charges in the death of a 14-year-old. Police say her dismembered body was discovered last year in the trunk of the singer's car. Red Lobster, trying to claw its way back after filing for bankruptcy, is bringing back the all-you-can-eat shrimp promotion. The new CEO says it's listened to customers who clamored for its return. This is ABC News.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with a Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Now, the latest Alliance area news from Clint Marshall on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 4:02. Canton police are investigating after a man was shot early Sunday. Officers were called around 4:30 to an apartment in the 3100 block of Tuscarawas Street West, where they found 51-year-old Richard Statz in a bedroom with a gunshot wound to the head. A 30-year-old woman at the scene told police she called 911. Investigators found a pellet gun nearby. Statz was listed in critical condition. Police say no arrests have been made and a motive has not been released. According to the repository, nearby residents reported hearing several gunshots, seeing a man banging on doors before running away. Brother of a man who died in the custody of Canton Police Department has filed a federal civil rights lawsuit. John Tyson filed a complaint Thursday in U.S. District Court seeking $13 million in damages over the death of 53-year-old Frank Tyson. The lawsuit names the city, Police Chief John Gabbard, Fire Chief Akbar Bennett, 2 police officers, and several first responders as defendants. The suit claims officers Bo Shanegi and Camden Birch restrained Tyson and failed to provide proper medical care after he became unconscious. Authorities say Tyson had crashed a car into a utility pole and entered an AmVets building on Sherrick Road Southeast before police took him into custody. The case was assigned to Judge Sarah Leoy. Man was arrested after a police pursuit and vehicle crash in Perry Township Friday afternoon. A police officer attempted to pull over a speeding driver near the intersection of Lincoln Way and Genoa Avenue Southwest just after 1 o'clock. Officers initiated a pursuit, which was terminated due to safety concerns. The same vehicle was involved in a crash at Genoa Avenue and 12th Street Northwest shortly after the pursuit had ended. Pastor exited the vehicle, but 59-year-old Mark Ertl continued eastbound, hitting a utility pole. The suspect, who had an outstanding warrant, was arrested without incident after a short foot chase. Man appeared in court Friday in connection with the May 2021 death of a Canton woman. The 66-year-old Randall Talmadge of Canton was arraigned in common pleas court and pleaded not guilty to charges including involuntary manslaughter and failing to provide for a functionally impaired person. Investigators say 71-year-old Lola Streetman was found dead in May 2021 with possible signs of neglect. Sierra Talmadge and Phyllis Green of Canton have also pleaded not guilty. All three are slated to return to court for a pretrial hearing May 20th. Plain Township woman charged in a theft case involving an elderly man was scheduled for arraignment Friday. 35-year-old Erica Wenzel was taken into custody Thursday. Stark County grand jury indicted her and 43-year-old Jason McBroom of Mogador in February. He was arrested last month. Pair accused of stealing between $1,000 and $7,500 from the Canton man between November and January. Wenzel also charged with grand theft and unauthorized use of a vehicle. Woman allegedly used the victim's credit card and car without permission. McBroom has pleaded not guilty and is awaiting a pretrial hearing Tuesday. Two Salem residents appeared in court Friday on multiple sex-related charges involving two children. 57-year-old Mark Knight faces 15 counts in Columbiana County Common Pleas Court, while 40-year-old Jan McHenry faces 12, including rape, sexual battery, and gross sexual imposition. The alleged abuse spanned from 2014 through 2025 and began when one child was just 7 years old. The jury trial for Knight was scheduled for May 26th. A psychiatric evaluation was set for McHenry. Both remain in jail on $100,000 bond. Reachtown Elementary School Principal Jeff Turner was placed on home assignment connected to an incident in February. Parents Brad Biltz and Kristen Drum claimed Turner instructed their daughters not to tell anyone a fourth-grade boy exposed himself to Biltz's 9-year-old daughter and another girl February 18th. After the girls reported the event to a teacher, Turner reportedly interviewed them alone and told them to remain silent. Parents learned of the incident 2 days later, prompting them to meet with administrators in the Portage County Sheriff's Office. Turner was placed on leave but returned March 4th. The Sheriff's Office is investigating. The parents have circulated a petition with nearly 200 signatures calling for Turner's resignation. Police in Warren are investigating a deadly stabbing Sunday night. Officers were called to the 2200 block of South Feederly Drive Southeast, where they found a man who'd been stabbed multiple times. Victim, whose name has not been released, was later pronounced dead at a hospital. According to WKBN TV, police say a suspect identified as Nazir Buckley was arrested at the scene. Court records show he's charged with first-degree murder. Anyone with information asked to contact the Warren Police Department. Authorities say a drug investigation in Trumbull County led to the seizure of large amounts of narcotics, cash, and weapons. Trumbull County Sheriff's Office Drug Task Force carried out simultaneous warrants at homes on South Main Street in Niles and West Avenue in Warren. According to WKBN TV, officers reported seizing nearly 3,600 grams of crystal methamphetamine, more than 600 grams of cocaine, 265 grams of fentanyl, and 81 grams of heroin, along with about $22,000 in cash. Authorities also recovered 11 firearms, 2 bulletproof vests, ammunition, and 2 narcotics presses. Officials say the investigation is ongoing and charges are pending lab results. 46 degrees at 4:07. This is the local edition of WDPN News. I'm Clint Marshall.
Meteorologist Mark Johnson has the latest forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
Sunshine, but it's going to be chilly all afternoon long. Look for a high of 44 degrees. You're going to need that coat. And tonight, even colder. Another freeze warning in effect, mainly clear skies. Our low 28. I am Mark J. Weather from 3 News.
Live from the AM 1310 WDPN studio, it's time for live and local sports talk. It's the Sam Bourquin Show.
I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, meatball.
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Jose Ramirez, first pitch swinging, launches one high and deep to left. Does it have enough? Yes! Home run, Jose Ramirez into the bleachers. Drill, deep left. If it's fair, it's gone. She is out of here. Jose's second home run of the afternoon. And it's 6-4 Cleveland. The pitch. Swung on line toward the gap in right center. It'll get down. Diving, though. Fry made the catch. David Fry racing to the gap in right center. caught that sinking liner parallel to the ground just before he hit the ground.
Friedel swings to right center. That's down to the gap, and the Reds are going to take the lead. Steer scores. Benson scores. Myers home. He's safe. Oh, baby. Clear them all. A stand-up three-run double by T.J. Friedel, and the Reds again come off the mat in the ninth.
2.7 left. Baseball pass down court. Holmgren on the catch. Gets it away in time. And hits at the buzzer.
Oh, the OKC Thunder look pretty good, don't they? Welcome back to the Sam Bourquin Show, AM 1310 WDPN. You can watch and listen to the show Monday through Friday, 3 until 6 p.m. on the 1310 WDPN Facebook page, our X page, and the Q92 Radio YouTube channel. And while you're there, make sure you stop by and hang out with us for a little bit. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I want to thank Fred Greetham from the Orange and Brown Report, our guest last hour, talking a little NFL, talking a little Cleveland Browns draft. Guards and Astros begin a 3-game series tonight at Progressive Field at 6:10. Slade Ciccone on the bump tonight for Cleveland. Cavs and Raptors tonight. Big game 2 right across the street at Rocket Arena. Cavaliers are an 8.5-point favorite against Toronto this evening. That game will get underway a little bit after 7 o'clock. It would really behoove the Cavaliers to hold serve tonight and get both games at home before they head north of the border. Speaking of the draft, Thursday night, it's night number 1 of the NFL draft. We'll continue to get you ready for that over the next couple of days. Don't forget, Sammy B's Best Bet coming up at 4:29 on this day in sports history at 5:29, and we'll jump you right back into the poll question of the day. Also, this weekend, the Ohio State Buckeyes played a little spring football game at the Horseshoe. Not the greatest weather conditions, but nice crowd was on hand to see what the Buckeyes may have in store for us coming up here in 2026. And I thought, you know what? It's been a long time since I've talked to my man, Marcus Hartman. Used to talk to him back when I was at the radio station back in Canton many moons ago, and been following him on X. And I said, you know what? I think it's time to make that call. And we did, and here he is. Marcus Hartman from Press Pros Magazine does a great job covering a lot of things in Columbus, including the Ohio State Buckeyes. Marcus, it's been a long time, brother. How you doing this afternoon?
I'm pretty good. I appreciate you reaching out.
You got it, man. I've been following along, and I saw a couple of little articles, a couple of stories. You were talking about the renovations, possibly what you would like to have done with Ohio Stadium and the Schottenstein Center. We've been talking about that for a little while. I said, let's do it, and let's see what happened down in Columbus on the spring sports, big spring football game. So I got to watch a little, and I'm already just infatuated with Chris Henry Jr., like a lot of Buckeye fans are. Tell us about Saturday at the Shoe and what you saw and what maybe we could be in store for here coming up later on this fall.
Yeah, I think that was probably the best. Hold on, I've got a dog here just decided to come over and whine. That was probably the best thing that you could take from it was he's a freshman. If you see the guy, he passes the look test, which you never know how much a freshman is going to be able to contribute. And obviously, they don't need him to come in and be Jeremiah Smith as a freshman or be a star, but you see the fact that he knows what he's doing. He's gotten a lot of good training already over the years. He looks a lot like his dad, the way he moves, and he's so big and strong and athletic. So you figured what you saw from him Saturday was, all right, well, this guy's definitely going to be able to contribute. He can at least be out there and prevent you from just completely tilting the field toward Jeremiah. And it'll be interesting to see. We didn't get to see; they didn't stand out much. I was curious to see what some of the transfers receivers looked like, and Brandon Ennis, what you're kind of getting from him. He's a very solid guy, a team guy. So if anything, there's been a lot of buzz for Chris Henry Jr. and for Brock Boyd, who's another freshman who's from Texas. He's more of a slot receiver type of a guy. The coach's son does everything right type of a guy. So we'll see how that rotation kind of shakes out. But yeah, that was the number one thing. And the other thing everybody came away, happy to see that, Tavian St. Clair, I mean, not that he's ready to challenge Julian Sand or anything like that, but he looked like he has taken a step from where he was before. He's got all the physical talent, which, once in a while, these guys will be 5-star guys and you come out and you go, really? I don't really see it. This guy, you can see it. He's a big, strong guy. He's got a great arm. The competition level wasn't a whole lot when he was in high school. And his senior year, that's one of the teams that we cover, Bell Fountain, has everybody graduated off of his junior year. So they were really good his junior year. His senior year, they didn't have a whole lot around him. And I think they were 7-3 and they lost in the playoffs. There's a little bit more of a learning curve for him. He's not one of these guys. They like the fact that he didn't have a private quarterbacks coach or anything like that in high school. He's kind of a piece of clay that they can mold. And so, he's coming along, he's making the progress I think that you'd like to see and feel good about, where he'll be, in a year, if that would be his time.
Marcus Hartman is our guest. Marcus, before we go any further, I know you got the Press Pros magazine, you got some other stuff going on. How can people reach out, follow you, interact with you, and see what's going on in your world?
Sure. The Twitter handle, the X handle has never changed. That's still just Marcus Hartman. My primary thing now, I'm writing for Press Pros magazine. Our focus is kind of West Central Ohio, Miami County, Shelby County, Mercer County. We actually have found we have a lot of readers in Northeast Ohio, especially on Friday nights. We think that it's people who like to see if Marion Local won. Some people I know, they're regulars over there in Northeast Ohio. So we've got good readership from all over the state. We covered we covered Menor and a Glenville game, and a couple of other Northeast Ohio games last fall, and that went pretty well. I think we were open to maybe trying to do that again this fall too, just so people are aware. But we really try to cover, we've got Ohio State football, basketball, baseball. Also, we probably cover Ohio State baseball more than anybody else, and we've got a UD basketball writer as well, and so you can get all your high school coverage there and the Ohio State coverage. We're the only people in Southwest Ohio covering Ohio State in person now, as things evolve. And then so that's pressprosmagazine.com. And then you can also find me. I've got a newsletter. It's free. All you have to do is sign up for it. It's cusswordsports.com. CUSSPORTSWORDS.com. That's primarily Ohio State stuff. If I feel like writing about the Reds or the Bengals or whatever else, the NBA or the college football playoff or NCAA tournament expansion or whatever, anything like that, the first four, you might find that on there. It's primarily Ohio State stuff, though. So I even mentioned today, the Browns and Guardians fans are more than welcome to follow along, but there's going to be some Reds and Bengals coverage as well. It'd probably be 80% Ohio State stuff. And I every Friday, I'm doing something called This Week in Ohio State Football, where I'm rounding up just kind of the week in football. It'll be some of my stuff, some stuff from people around the area, and then sort of whatever else floats my boat.
Good stuff. Sounds like you're busy wearing a lot of hats, and of course, doing a great job. I mean, boy, things have certainly changed in our business over the decades, and you gotta go with the flow or don't. So it's better to exactly be beginning of that. Marcus, we've seen a lot of spring games over the years with Ohio State and other big programs. What now in this era, 2026 and beyond, what is the philosophy behind these spring games? The number one thing to me has always been, don't let anybody get hurt. What is the most important thing or things that would follow in that line?
I think especially this year, but probably enduring over the years will be, you want the guys that have not played there before to get a shot, to just sort of feel what it's like, see how big the stadium is, and be on a little bit of a different stage, a little bit more of an adrenaline rush. And you know what? It's kind of one of those things. It's like preseason football. You've got to kind of really be. Everybody likes to kind of get into it and check it out, but you've got to be, really a hardcore follower. But if you are a hardcore follower, it's very it can be rewarding because you can see what some of these backups look like against each other, and that's the main thing I like to see is just sort of who really looks good athletically, who's tough and who's faster and who can tackle and block and everything like that. The offensive line was a little shorthanded, which is pretty normal for a spring game. So I kind of expected the ends to have a big day, and they did. And so, yeah, the number one thing is nobody gets hurt. Obviously, so with the starters, were in there, they were not tackling to the ground. It was just called thud. They let the backups kind of go at it. He had even said he might let the quarterbacks get tackled, not Julian Sayin, obviously, but the other guys. They didn't do that. But that's the main thing to see. There was some talk about maybe getting away from spring games just because coaches are always paranoid, and they were worried about losing guys that look good in the portal a couple of weeks later. But now there's no more spring portal, so they don't worry about that anymore. And that's all the more reason. That's why they got 51 new guys that they're breaking in, which Ryan Day talked about every chance that he got. I think he's very paranoid about making sure he's got the culture right and everything. Well, now you want to get those guys out there and get a rep and get what it feels like to be an Ohio State football player, including even 40,000 was one of the smaller crowds they've had in the last 25 years, but it was still bigger than probably most places get. Even in the Big Ten. So, it's just a good thing to get out there and kind of see guys when there's a little bit more pressure on them. And again, you get to see the receivers go against each other, the cornerbacks go against each other. I was kind of looking to see what the communication was like really in the secondary. They talk about Caleb Downs he made everything go. Not only was he a great player, but he made sure everybody was in the right place and knew their assignments and stuff. So that was something I'd like kind of want to see if the safeties they were able to direct traffic and everybody was where they needed to be. And, I think they passed the first test at least.
Marcus, what are the expectations for Julian Sayin coming up this year? I know he's working on some footwork and working on some speed and agility and things like that. I thought the young man acquitted himself pretty well a year ago, but it's Ohio State. What are the expectations to coming up?
Well, it was interesting. We went from the Big Ten, the Ohio State quarterback should be the all Big Ten quarterback and a Heisman finalist every year, there for 7 or 8 years in a row. And then after CJ Stroud, he kind of raised Day was just looking for a distributor there for a couple of years, including last year with Julian being a redshirt freshman, which makes sense. And now he did say a week ago, I thought this was very meaningful. He said, it's time for Julian to step up. He's got to be a leader. He's got to make people around him better. And so I think it'll be interesting to see if he can handle that. I mean, I would expect that he can. You've got to figure, he's a 5-star recruit for a reason. It's not that he's the biggest and strongest guy, but he can handle it mentally, I think. And if he can kind of grow into being a leader, if he's got everything down pat, he can make everybody go where they want to go. And then, the next step is just, making sure he is finding, the best play available, I think, on every play. I think there were some times where there was some justifiable criticism that maybe he could have pulled the trigger on a few throws there, especially very at the end of the season. And he didn't. I mean, it's easy for us to say sitting in the press box or sitting behind the TV screen. But that's part of the evolution of a quarterback. I did a story a long time ago talking to a bunch of people about what it takes. And I remember one thing I got, Mike Tomczak was one of the people who was like, yeah, that's the thing. You go from, you kind of learn how the offense works. And then the next thing is when to make plays and when to push the envelope without pushing it too far. And, that was the takeaway that I got that has always stuck with me. And I think it's still the same deal. That's the next challenge for Julian. We know he can take the plays that are there, and he generally does a good job of taking care of the ball. But even, Aaron Rodgers has been criticized the last few years for maybe not throwing enough interceptions, not taking enough chances. And so there's a fine line even for guys in the NFL. So that's what I think. You're going to see him take charge in the huddle, be on it on every play, make sure he's got his guys where they're supposed to be, and that he is finding, the big plays when they're there and maybe not, not too quick to check down. Now, check downs are not a bad thing when you throw to these big, fast, athletic guys and they can go and make break tackles and make things happen. But I think that's what you expect. You expect him to be, one of the best quarterbacks in the country and leading a great offense.
Marcus Hartman is our guest. Check him out at Press Pros Magazine. Check him out on all of his social media platforms, including at Marcus Hartman on X. Marcus, one more. We'll go into a little Ohio State renovations here before we kick you free. We're a long way away, obviously, but the Big Ten. Okay, you got the big dog. You got Ohio State. You got old Kurt Cignetti at Indiana. You got a new sheriff in town, Matt Campbell up at Penn State. Fitzy is at Michigan State. Illinois has gotten better. USC is always going to be good. What's the pecking order, do you think, early on here for the Big Ten season coming up, although we are several months away? Oh, and by the way, Ohio State's schedule is very, very tough.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've got to figure I really like Dante Moore. So you've got to figure, I know there's a lot of new there at Oregon, but they're pretty good at rolling over the roster. And Oregon's got to prove it too. They've gotten slammed in both the playoff games. So I think Ohio State and Oregon, and you expect Indiana. I don't think that they've truly like solved the portal where they're just going to be able to reload every year there at Indiana. But you've got to beat them. They're the champs. You've got to knock them off. They've obviously made a bunch of good acquisitions. It's a little bit USC. The talent is always there. I'm really fascinated to see Penn State. Honestly, I mean, I think Matt Campbell is kind of the one guy, and I know he's a Northeast Ohio guy. He's kind of the one guy that didn't want to see go to Michigan because I think that would have been a good match there. I'm not so sure about Whittingham there at Michigan. Maybe it'll work great. Maybe it'll be a little bit of a weird pairing there. But Matt Campbell importing all those guys from Iowa State, which they might bring some of the grit and grind that maybe Penn State had been missing over the years. I mean, they always had plenty of talent, but it was kind of I think look at Penn State and Wisconsin were kind of the opposite ends of the coin. I mean, Wisconsin would have a better depth of roster, but they might not have those very high end guys. And Penn State would have the very high end NFL draft picks, but then they wouldn't have the same kind of core strength of a roster. So I'll be very fascinated to see how that works out both this year with an all new team pretty much, and then how he recruits moving forward with all of his roots. And I think that Fitzgerald at Michigan State is a great fit too. So I in Illinois, as a team, and Illinois, if I remember, has a pretty weak schedule. So they've got some turnover, but they've got some guys back, and they've got a coach who knows what he's doing. So yeah, I looked at it, and I don't remember exactly off the top of my head, but I don't think this could be like the toughest schedule that they've ever played, at least on paper, in terms of number of ranked teams, even before you get into the playoff. It doesn't always work out that way, and I think Ohio State is built to handle that kind of a schedule. I don't think they're going to be undefeated. As Texas aside, they can afford to lose a couple games, and they'll certainly still make the playoff. And sometimes a 9-3 team is going to get in. We haven't seen a 9-3 team that had the resume for it yet, but this could be one.
Yep, it'll be fun. There's no question about that. All right, Marcus, I saw a little story last weekend, some publications floating around. I actually talked to a couple of season ticket holders. They were planning on looking at the questionnaires that were coming out from Ohio State about what do we do with the horseshoe? What do we do with renovations? What would you like to see? What can we do? How much is it going to cost? That old thing down there on the banks of the Olentangy has been down there for a long, long time, and they have preserved it as best as they can. What can they do, Marcus, to make it better? And also keep in mind, enable people that maybe aren't corporate billionaires to be able to afford to go to Buckeye games moving forward. What do you see happening there?
Yeah. Well, and I have to say, I have not. The last time I went to a game as a fan was the 2002 Michigan game.
Yeah, I read your story.
So I've been very fortunate that way. But I get the impression, a lot of the normal creature comforts they could improve. Fix up the bathrooms, make the concourse easier to navigate, and things like that. Redo the seats. I mean, the same bench seats in a lot of the places that they've had forever. So from that standpoint, I would expect that they'll do what they need to do in terms of just sort of improving the concessions and all that stuff. I'm sure that they'll do that, improving the bathrooms and everything. I mean, there's not much to that. It's just a matter of putting the money into it. They're talking about it's more for the rich people from that standpoint. They haven't put in they've cleared out the south stands there. Where the band sat. Those bleachers are gone. They haven't put in there yet what's going to replace it, which is going to be like a suite, which I guess is going to be a temporary structure that they'll rebuild that every year. It'll be interesting to see what that does. But there'll be people there. There's going to be a suite this year at the end on the south end zone between the stadium, between where the seats end and the end zone, and where there will be kind of a wine and cheese club there for people. They've got another club that they're building, and I think it'll be ready this year. That's underneath these south stands. That's more of a place where people can go and mingle and things like that. And that's a very expensive to get in. I think I forget what it is, but there's the 1922 club, and there's a high bar just to get into that. And so those things we know are coming. They're going to replace the north scoreboard this year. Next year, there's going to be a big project to replace the south scoreboard, which I think is more or less the same as it's been since they put it up in 2002, 1 or 2. And so and they're going to redo the ribbon boards and things like that, which those aren't that old, but they've had some physical issues with them where they've gone out, I think, a couple times over the last couple years. So you're going to see them do all that stuff, some of the different bells and whistles and things. But I think the survey maybe it was. I haven't seen the survey itself. I saw the announcement, but it was about how can they. Like I said, there's some of the basic stuff. Obviously, they know they need to fix up, and they're going to do it. But the rest of it was like, what can we do to get the most possible money out of you guys that you'll tolerate the most, And so I guess we'll see where it lands on that kind of thing. And what I guess I would be curious to see what the responses were. I mean, if they get some pushback for people saying, "Hey, don't add all this expensive stuff or reduce the seating or anything like that," or if there are people saying, "Heck yeah, I'll do it," maybe they'll get that. There's got to be a limited number of people who want to pay for that kind of stuff, but maybe they haven't hit that limit yet.
Yeah, it's interesting. I know Ross Bjork, man. He loves him some cash coming into the university.
Yeah.
Hey, also loved your quick read. I'm with you, man. Let's get out of the Schottenstein Center. Let's go fix up Old St. John Arena, and let's go back to playing basketball there again. It's probably never going to happen, but one can dream, right?
Yeah. Well, I think, and I haven't talked to any inside people about this, other than I know for a fact they cannot tear it down until they build another ice rink and another indoor track, because the heater and the electric system and everything for French Fieldhouse and the ice rink are like under St. John.
Yeah.
So that's why they haven't torn St. John down yet. And they're trying to replace those things, but they haven't gotten real far down the line. And so it'd be real expensive. How expensive would it be to tear down St. John? Real expensive, right? So I feel like somebody with some vision come in there. It'd be the easiest fundraiser of all time to, to say, hey, we're going to rebuild St. John. They'd make that money in like 2 weeks, right? And it wouldn't be easy. I'm not saying it'd be cheap. I'm not saying it'd be easy. But I mean, have you been to UD Arena? Because they've done major renovations to UD Arena over the last 20 years. It was about three jobs into it. The most recent one was like $90 million. They took out load-bearing walls and concrete, and they took out obstructed seats and made them better seats. They added suites, all kinds of stuff. If you can do that, and they didn't mess it up at all. If you can do that at UD Arena, you can do that at St. John Arena, and it could be a great arena that would hold the right amount of people. It'd probably still be bigger than like a lot of, it'd still be one of the 30 biggest arenas in this country. Yeah. We've proven that there are not 19,000 people that want to see Ohio State basketball games on the regular, unless maybe they're undefeated or Greg Oden is on the team. So I think I think that's what they should do. They operated the two basketball arenas for 20 some years. And they want to do all that other stuff that they do at the Schott. Go ahead, keep doing that. It's just not a good place to watch a basketball game. Keep practicing there, have your fancy locker rooms and stuff like that. And then just go over and play basketball in a place where the fans are going to be more into it. It's going to be more fun. You're going to have a real home court advantage. Yeah. I'm not holding up hope at all that they're going to do it, but I think it would be awesome if they did.
I do too, man. Get me back to the home where it was $13,276 every night for Ohio State basketball. Let's make that happen. My check will be in the mail. Marcus, it was great catching up with you. We will call upon you again for a myriad of things, I'm sure, in the near future. Appreciate you doing well. What you got going on? And I appreciate your time today, man. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Marcus Hartman, Press Pros Magazine. Check him out. There's a lot of great stuff as well on the social media. Give him a follow at Marcus Hartman on X. News is weather coming up next.
Now, the latest area news on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 4:30. President Trump said Sunday U.S. representatives will arrive in Pakistan tonight in preparation for negotiations with Iran. The president said Iran had violated a ceasefire agreement by firing shots at a French ship and freighter from the UK Saturday in the Strait of Hormuz. Vice President J.D. Vance and Special Envoys to the Middle East Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner are expected to travel to Pakistan as part of the delegation. The president warned if Iran does not agree to a deal, the U.S. could target key infrastructure. Iran had not confirmed it would attend negotiations with the U.S. The president announced Sunday the United States had warned an Iranian ship attempting to bypass the blockade in the Gulf of Oman to stop. The Navy destroyer USS Spruance intercepted the vessel. When it did not stop, the ship was identified as nearly 900-foot cargo ship named Tuska. The president said weighed almost as much as an aircraft carrier. He said the Iranian crew refused to listen, so our Navy ship stopped them in their tracks by blowing a hole in the engine room. Marines took custody of the vessel, the blockade being enforced by the U.S. Central Command. Target ships entering or exiting Iranian ports. It will not impede on the freedom of navigation for ships transiting the Strait of Hormuz between the Persian Gulf and the ocean. An earthquake registering a preliminary magnitude of 7.7 off northern Japan Monday prompted a short-lived tsunami alert. The Cabinet Office and Japan Meteorological Agency said there was a 1% chance for a larger quake compared to a 0.1% chance during normal times in the next week or so. Officials urge residents in 182 towns along the northeastern coast to raise their preparedness. Similar advisory was issued following a 7.5 magnitude shaker in December. Fire and Disaster Management Agency said one person was injured after falling Monday. The quake occurred just before 5 p.m. at a depth of about 11 miles. 28-year-old illegal immigrant from Guatemala accused of trying to sexually assault a female Sunday, according to Arlington County Police. Lisbon Orvando Moran followed the woman around 5:40 a.m., making sexually explicit comments. As he grabbed the victim and shoved her against the wall, the woman was able to break free, and two good Samaritans came to her rescue. Garcia Moran fled the scene on foot but was quickly arrested. Court records say he's faced more than 30 prior charges in Arlington County, Virginia, including multiple counts of assault and battery, destruction of property, public intoxication, falsely identifying himself, and many probation violations. The charges were either not pursued by the Arlington County Commonwealth Attorney's Office or were dismissed during the criminal proceedings. An Iranian businesswoman suspected of trafficking weapons for Iran has been arrested at Los Angeles International Airport. 44-year-old Shamim Mafi is accused of brokering the sale of Iranian-made drones, bombs, bomb fuses, and millions of rounds of ammunition to Sudan. The alleged dealer of Woodland Hills left her home country in 2013 and became a permanent resident of the U.S. 3 years later. She allegedly used an Oman-registered company to broker weapons deals as recently as last year. A contract for more than $70 million worth of Iranian-made armed drones was allegedly included in the sales. 46 degrees at 4:33 for WDPN News. I'm Clint Marshall.
Now, the Alliance Area Weather Forecast from Mark Johnson on AM 1310 WDPN.
A lot of afternoon sunshine coming your way, but you're going to need that coat. You're not going to warm up much. A high of 44 degrees. Overnight, another freeze warning in effect. Mainly clear. Our low 28. I am Mark J. Weather from 3 News.
$1310 WDPN. You know what time it is. Well, usually it would be 4:29, but we ran a little bit late with our interview with Marcus, but we're ready to go on the other side of the news and weather with Sammy's Best Bet. We do it 4:29 Monday through Friday here on the show. Last week we hit 3 out of 5. Boy, we were red hot. Winter Monday, winter Tuesday, winter Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Yeah. So we were 3 and 2 last week, but that's not too bad. That's still 60%. That's pretty good, right? Sure it is. All right, we're back at it tonight, and I didn't really like any Major League Baseball totals tonight, and I didn't like any NBA totals tonight. Thought about maybe going a little Minnesota-Denver over, but I'm like, you know what? Oh, Rainsburg, there's been movement on our wager.
Ha! That's why I said something.
Just checked. Must be well. Okay. Well, this is good for us. Atlanta Hawks at the New York Knicks tonight. Game 2 of that playoff series. Knicks lead that 1-0. The original line came out at 5.5, and it was sticking there pretty steady. But I have noticed the last 45 minutes to an hour, there's been a little growth. It hit the 6, and now it's up to 6.5. We were going to go with the Hawks anyway, so we'll take that extra point. And our best bet tonight, I feel better about this now. I like the Atlanta Hawks plus the 6.5 against the New York Knicks. Atlanta plus the 6.5 tonight against the New York Knicks. Now, New York won the game 1 of this series. Kind of got out to a big lead. Atlanta closed the deal late, and then New York kind of stepped on their throat and put them away the last 2.5, 3 minutes. But I think C.J. McCollum and company I think they'll hang around tonight. I'm not saying that they're going to win, but I think they'll hang around. So we're going to go with the Atlanta Hawks tonight, plus the 6.5 at New York against the Knicks. That's Sammy B's best bet. All right. Come on, CJ. Let's go. Like the Hawks tonight. I liked them at 5.5. You're going to give me another point? I'll take it. I like the... I like the Cavs tonight. They've got the same point spread as they did on Saturday. They were an 8.5-point favorite on Saturday, and they won, 123? I think they won by double digits. So the spot is still 8.5 again tonight. I think the Cavs win. I don't know if I would take them to cover. Jarrett Allen, how did he look to you guys? I thought he looked like he was laboring a little bit, obviously coming off that injury. But I will say, he sucked it up. He played hard. I thought he was pretty physical. But I could also tell coming back down the floor, maybe a little bit in transition, I said, you know what? This guy's not 100%. And we knew that going in. But, Jarrett, we got to have you. We need you to play at least 30, 32 minutes out of the four. Can you give us that? If you can give us that, I think we'll be okay. Now, the Cavs shot the three-point ball really well on Saturday. Don't know if they're going to do that again tonight. You know, game twos are funny, especially you're at home. You win big in your opener. You've had a day off. You're not getting on a plane. You're not going to a hotel. You're not going to a new arena. You know you're going to be in the comforts of home. Sometimes I believe teams kind of have a little letdown. They let their guard down. And then you combine that with the team that lost game one of the series. This is game two. They don't want to go down 0-2, even though they know they're going to go home for 2. You don't want to lose the first couple of games on the road. And I think Toronto's got enough spunk to make this interesting tonight. But I think the Cavaliers will win. But they're going to need the juice early from the crowd. And they're going to need to, the Cavs, man, they got to hit threes. There's no getting around it. And I need some more points out of James Harden tonight. I appreciate the assist. I appreciate that, but I need some more points. Donovan played a great game. Strus did very well. Our role guys played well. Need that for the second game tonight. Need that for game 2 of the series. Cavs Raptors downtown Cleveland a little bit after 7 o'clock tonight. Where can we find that game tonight?
I think, is it still on Prime?
Is it Prime again tonight, or is it Peacock?
I thought the first 2 were Prime, and then it was the third that was something else, maybe.
Because I know game 4 is ESPN, but I don't know about game 3. I want to say tonight is NBC Sports Network and Peacock, but not the big NBC. It's NBC Sports Network and Peacock. I think that's tonight. I'll have to do a little investigating here during the break, but I think that's where we're at. I think that's where we're at. So I know a lot of people were so infuriated over the weekend because they couldn't find games or they didn't want to pay the extra. I don't blame you. They want to pay the extra to stream. They don't want to mess around. But I know fans were they were trying to find the Cavs. They were trying to find some of the NHL playoff games. They were trying to find some baseball games. Games were getting blacked out in markets that people felt that they shouldn't be getting blacked out in. It was just like, yay. But yeah, I think tonight's NBC Sports Network and Peacock. We'll let you know.
Yes, it is. I just found it. You are correct.
Okay, so it's 7:00, right?
That was the only thing I hadn't seen yet, but yeah, I think so.
So you got that tonight. Then there's an off day.
Yep, 7.
Tuesday, off Wednesday, and then they will be in Toronto on Thursday. And then game 4. Is game 4 Saturday or Sunday? I would sure hope that they wouldn't take another 2 days off in between games 3 and 4. You're already in the city. You only need to take 1 day off. At least that's what I'm hoping. Our poll question today kind of revolves around what everybody was doing over the weekend. Our poll question today, which sports programming did you watch the most of this past weekend? And I gave you some choices: Guardians, Cavs, NHL, Ohio State spring game, and WrestleMania. Let me read some of the comments we've been getting here this afternoon. Rich says he was listening to the Ohio State spring football game. Oh no, he ushered it. I'm sorry, he was there. Very wet, but no lightning. Said it was good to be back in the stadium. He also ushered the Luke Combs concert. So that's good. Let's see here. Pam says, Guardians 100%. I couldn't find the Cavs on TV. Angry face. Got a lot of those. Vanessa says, Tribe and the Cavs. Jeremy says, the Indians. Brian says, WrestleMania. Robert, WrestleMania. Chris Reinhardt says, WrestleMania. Stacy said he watched Orlando beat Charlotte on Friday. And then did you see what the Magic did yesterday? Oh, they knocked off J.B. Bickerstaff and the Pistons. I told you about the Pistons. They'll probably win that series. Old J.B., he's not a real good playoff coach just yet. Nate Murphy, WrestleMania. Jeff Harlow, WrestleMania. Holy smokes. Look at all this wrestling on here. Tammy says, Sam, I watched WrestleMania and a lot of baseball. Doug Yu says, NBA playoffs. Could not watch Cavs or Indians. I am paying over $150 a month for Dish. I refuse to pay more for multiple streaming services. But I listened on the radio, and that was just good enough for me. Jim says Cavs. Russ, he watched golf yesterday, the RBC Invitational. That was pretty good stuff. We watched a little bit of that, too. Anita says Cavs. Joshua says, I watched WrestleMania with my son. Wayne says Cavs and Guardians. Heidi says the Tribe. Greg says he watched the Cavs and the Guards. Sean Elliott, Cavs and NBA playoff games and some of the Stanley Cup. All right, you guys are all over it. I love it. Good stuff. Everybody was watching a little bit of everything, it looks like. But what did you watch the most of over the weekend? Get your comments in on the Q92 Radio YouTube chat. You can also leave your comments on the Sam Bourquin Show page on Facebook and any of our 1310 WDPN social media platforms. Rainsburg, what did you watch over the weekend? Sports related.
I caught a little bit of the Cavs on Saturday.
All right.
I didn't forget. I
forgot to remind you.
Well, see, I told you.
We knew that was going to happen.
That thing I told you was I'm not going to remember to text you the night before, which I didn't.
So you didn't remember, and then I didn't remember, but you still remember to watch.
I will, because I woke up this morning, and because I had mentioned it to you the day before, just me reminding you to remind me reminded me.
See?
If that makes sense.
It all works out.
It's like writing something down, but I didn't. I basically wrote it down in your brain.
Very good.
So
Very
I
good.
did remember. I caught some of that. The thing that that's coming to mind the most is, so because you were talking about how the game tonight starts at 7.
Mm-hmm.
All the Amazon games said they were going to start at 7.
Mm-hmm.
None of them did.
No,
not even close.
7:15ish,
7:30, sometimes 7:45. Because what it seemed like from Amazon's perspective is that the pregame started at 7. And then the game kicked off at like 7:30, give or take. So that was a little annoying. Is that normal?
Well,
did I just misread it?
It is, but it usually is not like a half hour's worth of blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
Usually, like during the regular season, I've said this on the show a lot, that if a game is set, if they say the game is going to tip at 7, it's going to tip at 7:12. That's just how it's going to be.
Which is still not bad.
It's not bad, but it's kind of like a little lie. All right, I get it. They're trying to get you in to watch the. I understand it, but it's a little bit of a lie. Okay, 8 o'clock games, 8:12. 10:30 games start at 10:43. Always take 12 or 13 minutes past the scheduled tip time. That's when you're actually going to start. But it seems like Amazon Prime has kind of taken this to a new, dirty, shameful level.
Yeah, they
and
really
they're
like
starting
that
like a
pregame.
half hour later than the scheduled alleged tip time. Now, Saturday, I was out all afternoon, so I did not get to watch any of the Cavs game.
Yeah, I didn't catch the beginning, so I don't know how far they pushed it back.
I was checking my phone, and I put the game on the radio once, and it was like 3:30, and there was still like 10 minutes to go in the game.
Ooh.
And I'm like, wait a minute.
How late
Wait
did
a
they start?
minute. So right away, that told me that game did not start at 1 o'clock.
No.
So obviously it started a lot after 1 o'clock.
Lord.
But yeah, that's one of the dirty little tricks in the business. So I get it. I know what they're doing there. Couple more here before we take a break. Bobby Joe says, Sam, I watched everything. Great sports weekend. Dan, NHL by a country mile. That's the best playoffs in sports. Ken says he watched golf yesterday. Mike Dixon, he watched college lacrosse and WrestleMania.
Dong Bobbler was watching the MLB and the Guardians, it looks like.
There you go. Yeah, that was a good weekend.
So was our guy in sales, Mike Voorhees. But we know he was watching the Guardians. He didn't have to tell us that, does he?
No, we already know that, right? Steve Schenberger says he was watching soccer. Dave M., Stanley Cup playoffs. Elizabeth says, Sam, I watched the Buckeye spring game and the Guardians over the weekend. So keep those coming in. We'll make those a big part of our show this afternoon. What did you watch the most over the weekend? I watched, I was able to watch a little bit of the Guards Friday night. Not much, little. I didn't get to watch any of the Cavs Saturday, just highlights and checking scores. I watched a little bit of the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs last night. I was watching Vegas and Utah for a little bit. I caught a little bit of the spring game for Ohio State. I caught a little bit of WrestleMania and a little bit of the golf yesterday. So it was, I told you, man, April is an underrated sports month on the calendar. Doesn't just have the big events, the big games, but it's got, little playoffs here, little playoffs there, little spring game, little extras. There's a lot going on here during the month of April. So we appreciate everybody kind of holding the fort down with us and checking out all the big stuff coming that did happen over the weekend. And there will be lots more. There will be lots more coming up here very, very soon. Playoffs are kind of kicking into full gear with the NBA and the NHL. MLB regular season still, pretty young. Pretty young. But before you know it, we'll be talking about what? The All-Star break and seeing who's going where and who maybe be folding up the tent for the year. So there's a lot of stuff coming up here.
We have a quick text from Buck that just says, Sam, happy 420 day.
Come on. I don't celebrate that. Come on.
Oh, what? That's not a real holiday for you?
No. No.
It's a real holiday for some people.
Yeah, I can smell.
The whole world today?
Jeez. If the stuff didn't smell so bad, I could tolerate it. I don't smoke, so that's out. But if that crap just didn't smell so bad, I would be willing to give people a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. But I can't. I can't stomach the smell.
I would argue that cigarettes smell worse at this point.
Oh, I hate them both.
But
I hate them both. I don't do either. Ugh. But yeah, if you're celebrating that today, then have at it. Just stay away from me. 6 minutes till the top of the hour. The Sam Bourquin Show continues on 1310 WDPN.
Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? Safe Step walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub from an area of concern to a calming refuge. Call them today at 1-800-498-2098 and save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs and showers are proudly made in Tennessee and offer an ultra-low step-in, avoiding that difficult climb over a traditional bathtub wall. They also offer a variety of therapeutic benefits that may help soothe your aching muscles and joints, increasing your mobility, boosting your energy, and improving your sleep. Safe Step walk-in tubs are designed to easily fit your existing tub space and are often installed in as little as one day. Just dial 1-800-498-2098 today to save $1,600 and receive a free shower package. That's 1-800-498-2098 for a free no-obligation consultation and to save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs. Safety never felt so good.
Music and intelligence for your life.
No matter what anybody tells you, words and ideas can change the world.
I'm John Tesh, and we couldn't be happier about bringing you intelligence for your life every day. We have a room full of researchers gathering the information and ideas you need to make your life simpler and better, and to make you the smartest person in the room. Join me for Music and Intelligence for Your Life, 10 to 3, Monday through Saturday, only on AM 1310 WDPN.
You heard it on the John Tesh Radio Show.
I think we can all agree. Over the last few years, things have gotten weird.
Weird, confusing, and at times pretty scary.
And for our kids, these things can be overwhelmingly stressful.
And can increase the risk for mental health problems as they grow.
But there's so much hope.
Scientific research and real-life experience
tell us that the number one antidote to stress is authentic, trusted relationships.
So that's why I.
That's why we.
That's why I am committed to building and maintaining a trusted space.
For the students I influence every single day.
Until schools across the country
can proudly call ourselves a trusted space.
This is a trusted space.
This is a trusted space. This is a trusted space.
This is a trusted space.
This is a trusted space.
Access free films and resources to build trusted spaces in your schools and communities at atrustedspace.org.
$13.10 WDPN. We've got a couple of minutes before we get you to the top of the hour. Clint Marshall standing by with all of your news and weather to get you all squared away with what's going on in your world. Phone lines are open too. 330-821-1310. Check us out on all of our social media platforms, Facebook, X, and of course the Q92 Radio YouTube channel. I have a couple of NFL notes I want to pass along to you before we get to the top of the hour. Dallas Cowboys reportedly have made Brandon Aubrey the league's highest paid kicker. Oh, I guess. 4-year contract, $28 million. That's according to NFL Network's Ian Rappaport. Well, he can kick the heck out of the ball, I'll tell you that. Steelers minicamp opening without Aaron Rodgers. Kind of knew that was going to happen, right? Pittsburgh opening a 3-day voluntary camp today under new coach Mike McCarthy, and they'll go without any indication from whether Aaron Rodgers will be coming back for another season. My guess is he will. You're just not going to see or hear from him for a while. Like we've been going through this now the last several years. Veteran wide receiver likely to be traded to the Patriots. We're talking about A.J. Brown, still a member of Philadelphia, but it looks like he will be in New England within the next 6 weeks. And the big offensive tackle, the man that just keeps on playing, Big Trent Williams, who is about to turn 38 years of age, has reached a 2-year agreement with the San Francisco 49ers. Big Trent will make $50 million over the next 2 years as he starts his 16th season in the National Football League. Trent Williams is going to be 38. He's going to pull down another $50 million over the next 2 years. Oh, life is good. All right, news and weather coming up next. We got 2 hours in, one more big hour to go. Keep it right here. If you want, 1310 WDPN. It's the Sam Bourquin Show on a Monday afternoon. Stay with us, everybody.
An important part of the Alliance community since 1953. You're listening to AM 1310, WDPN Alliance.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The temporary ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran expires on Wednesday. President Trump, in an interview with Bloomberg, says it's highly unlikely he'll extend it. The Strait of Hormuz, mostly blocked with few tankers getting through. Patrick DeHaan of Gas Buddy says that uncertainty sending oil and gas prices up again here in the U.S. and overseas.
Right now, Europe is seeing a lot of supply constrained in the Strait of Hormuz. Keep in mind, it's not just oil that's stuck in the strait. It's a lot of the largest refineries in the Middle East are constrained, and those refineries also produce jet fuel for much of Asia and Europe. So now it's a kind of a twofold problem. Is not only is oil being held up, but things like jet fuel, diesel, and gasoline are as well.
In California, L.A. County prosecutors charging singer David, whose full name is David Burke, with first-degree murder with special circumstances in the murder of a 14-year-old whose body was found in his car trunk last year, police say. Attorneys for David say he's innocent. Stocks ended lower today on Wall Street. This is ABC News.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27 and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Need parts fast? Need them now? O'Reilly is fast. Just one part that makes O'Reilly Auto Parts stand apart. Right now at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts, you can get one free set of brake pads when you buy 2 qualifying brake rotors. Ask the professional parts people about additional brake pad and rotor upgrade options available at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Now, the latest Alliance area news from Clint Marshall on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 5:02. Canton man was in critical condition after being shot in the head early Sunday. Police say 51-year-old Richard Statz was found with a gunshot wound in a bedroom of an apartment in the 3100 block of Tuscarawas Street West at about 4:30. 30-year-old woman at the scene told police she made the 911 call. Investigators found a pellet gun nearby. According to the repository, a nearby resident reported hearing several gunshots, seeing a man banging on doors before running away. No arrests have been made as of Monday morning. Police say a motive has not been released. Federal civil rights lawsuit filed over the 2024 death of a Canton Township man while in police custody. John Tyson filed a complaint Thursday in U.S. District Court seeking $13 million in damages for the death of his brother, 53-year-old Frank Tyson. The lawsuit names the city of Canton, Police Chief John Gabbard, Fire Chief Akbar Bennett, 2 police officers, and several first responders as defendants. The case has been assigned to Judge Sarah Leoy. Tyson had crashed a car into a utility pole and entered an AmVets building on Sherrick Road Southeast. The lawsuit claims officers Bo Shonegi and Camden Birch used excessive force and failed to provide proper medical aid when Tyson became unresponsive. Man is in custody after a police pursuit and crash in Perry Township Friday afternoon. According to Perry Police, an officer tried to stop a speeding vehicle near Lincoln Way and Genoa Avenue Southwest. Pursuit began but was later called off due to safety concerns. Police say the same vehicle was later involved in a crash at Genoa and 12th Street Northwest. The driver, identified as 59-year-old Mark Ertl, continued east on 12th Street, striking a utility pole. Authorities say the suspect ran through backyards in a wooded area before being taken into custody without incident. Police say the driver also had an outstanding warrant. Canton man has pleaded not guilty in connection with the death of a 71-year-old woman. 66-year-old Randall Talmadge arraigned Friday in common pleas court on charges of involuntary manslaughter and failing to provide for a functionally impaired person. Investigators say Lola Streetman was found dead in May 2021 with medics reporting possible signs of neglect. Sierra Talmadge and Phyllis Green of Canton have pleaded not guilty. All are scheduled to return to court for a pretrial hearing May 20th. Woman is in custody in connection with a theft case involving an elderly Canton man. 35-year-old Erica Wenzel of Plain Township was arrested Thursday, while 43-year-old Jason McBroom of Mogador was apprehended last month. Stark County grand jury indicted the pair in February, accusing them of stealing between $1,000 and $7,500 from the victim between November and January. Wenzel also charged with grand theft and unauthorized use of a vehicle, involving allegations she used the man's credit card and car without permission. Wenzel was scheduled for arraignment Friday in Common Pleas Court. Canton man scheduled for arraignment following gunfire in the city. 21-year-old Caius West was arrested Thursday after he allegedly opened fire on a roadway. Police say he was also found with a loaded gun in his vehicle. West was wanted on multiple warrants. He faces charges of discharge of a firearm, improper handling firearms, and having weapons under disability. 2 people from Salem accused in a child sex abuse case appeared in court Friday. Columbiana County prosecutors say the alleged abuse involved 2 children and spanned from 2014 through 2025, beginning when one child was 7 years old. 57-year-old Mark Knight faces 15 counts. 40-year-old Jan McHenry faces 12, including rape, sexual battery, and gross sexual imposition. They remain in jail on $100,000 bond. A psychiatric evaluation was ordered for McHenry. Knight is scheduled to stand trial May 26th. Portage County Sheriff's Office investigating an incident involving the principal of Rootstown Elementary School. Jeff Turner was placed on home assignment last week. He was placed on leave after the allegations surfaced, but returned to the school March 4th. Meanwhile, a petition has been circulated with nearly 200 signatures calling for Turner's resignation. Parents Brad Bills and Kristen Drum say they learned from another family. 4th grade boy exposed himself to Biltz's 9-year-old daughter and another girl February 18th. After the girls reported it to a teacher, they claimed Turner interviewed the girls alone and allegedly told them not to tell anyone. Parents later met with school administrators and sheriff's investigators. A suspect in custody after a deadly stabbing Sunday night in Warren. WKBN TV reports police say Nazir Buckley was arrested at the scene and is charged with first-degree murder. Officers were called to the 2200 block of South Friederly Avenue Southeast, where they found a man who had been stabbed multiple times. The victim, whose name has not been released, later died from his injuries at a hospital. The investigation is continuing. Anyone with information has to contact the Warren Police Department. 45 degrees at 5:07. This is the local edition of WDPN News. I'm Clint Marshall.
Here's Mark Johnson's forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
Mainly sunny skies for your Monday afternoon. A chill in the air all day long, a high of 44 degrees. Overnight clear and starry, another freeze warning in effect. Our low 28. I am Mark J. Weather from 3 News.
Live from the AM 1310 WDPN studio, it's time for live and local sports talk. It's the Sam Bourquin Show.
I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, meatball.
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Jose Ramirez, first pitch swinging, launches one high and deep to left. Does it have enough? Yes! Home run, Jose Ramirez into the bleachers. Drill, deep left. If it's fair, it's gone. She is out of here. Jose's second home run of the afternoon. And it's 6-4 Cleveland.
The pitch. Swung on line toward the gap in right center. It'll get down. Diving, though. Fry made the catch. David Fry racing to the gap in right center. Caught that sinking liner parallel to the ground just before he hit the ground.
Friedel swings to right center. That's down to the gap, and the Reds are going to take the lead. Steer scores. Benson scores. Myers home. He's safe. Oh, baby. Clear them all. A stand-up 3-run double by T.J. Friedel, and the Reds again come off the mat in the ninth.
2.7 left.
Baseball pass down court. Holmgren on the catch. Gets it away in time. And hits at the buzzer.
It is hour number 3 of the Sam Bourquin Show. Welcome back, everybody. Hope you are having there goes all my pens. There they go. Hope you're having a great day. Just went outside for a second. Actually, I went back to charge my phone for a minute, and then I went outside. Don't be fooled by the appearance of the sun. Folks, it's chilly. It is rootin' tootin' chilly out there right now. Matter of fact, another freeze warning in effect tonight. I think from, 10 o'clock this morning until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Then we're going to heat up a little bit. But last night, I was like, what is going on? Turn the heat on again last night. We had the fireplace on last night. And we're probably going to have to do it again tonight. But then we're going to come out of it. We're going to be good. Phone lines are open, 330-821-1310, 330-821-1310. Hope all of you had a great sports weekend. Hope you had a chance to get away from work, get away from the monotony of the work week as it was, and get out and do some stuff with friends and family. Watch a little sports on TV, maybe get out for a little walk, get some yard work done. Had a nephew's birthday party yesterday afternoon. Which was good. Pepperoni rolls, man. Can't beat it. I think I had a few too many.
Every time.
I went in hard on the pepperoni rolls yesterday. Well, they're so good. So we had a little birthday party yesterday. So happy birthday, Brady. Hope you're doing well, buddy. 14. Oh, to be 14 years old again. And then last night, my son and I went to, actually, this turned into a whole kind of a funny story. But we went to the movies last night. Now, we normally don't ever go to the movies on a Sunday night. Excuse me. School's the next day, work's the next day, that kind of thing. But we were able to go last night, so we went to the 7:30 showing of the movie. It's called Normal. And I forget the guy's name who's the star, Bob Odenkirk or Odenkirk. He's in Better Call Saul.
Yeah, Bob Odenkirk.
He's in what's the other they had two of them come out within the last
Nobody.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Oh, those are so good. I mean, they're simple, but they're really good. So we went last night. Now, interestingly enough, the Cinemark, the Tinseltown Theater, and the Bistro last night, they're not showing this particular movie. It's not on any of the screens. I'm like, okay, so I'm panicking. I'm like, well, why, first of all? And then, okay, where are we going to go see it? Because we kind of decided around 4:30 to go see the 7:30 show. So we do a little investigative work, and it's going to be at the Regal. Okay, where's the Regal? Well, there's a whole bunch of Regals around. Not necessarily in our neck of the woods. I mean, there's a couple in Cleveland. I think there's one in like Parma. There's one in Hudson. But I was like, Regal? I don't even know of a Regal theater in Stark County.
Yeah, that's not really an Ohio thing.
So now remember, there used to be the one on 77 or off of 77, right as you come into Green. So if you were going 77 north, the Regal would be on the left-hand side of the highway. Well, that's gone now. That was like, they tore it down and now it's something else. I'm like, Regal. So I just Google where Regal theaters. And then the one popped up in Maslin.
Oh, The Great Escape.
Right. Well, They don't call it that anymore.
Oh, really?
But the weird thing is, if you go to the theater, and we did, the Great Escape, the logo, the signage, it's all still Great Escape.
That's great.
The words Regal are nowhere to be found, like anywhere. I'm like, okay, well, I guess we're going to go here. So we got our tickets in advance. Interesting, the birthday party yesterday was on the west side of Maslin. Then we drive all the way home. We drive all the way out back to Maslin 3 hours later. But anyway, so we're going to watch the movie Normal. And we're gonna hit the concession stands as we always do and take a little snack in and get ready to watch the movie. Now, I had not been in Great Escape Theaters / Regal for, I bet it's been over 10 years. I've always been Cinemark Tinseltown guy, and that's just kind of where we go.
Yeah,
or the Palace occasionally. I like to go downtown to the Palace Theater. So we pull up. I'm like, okay, not very many cars. Again, it's a Sunday night, but it's a fairly early show. It's 7:30, and they're like, Mario is on. The Devil Wears Prada 2. There's some, the frontline movies you're playing. I'm like, okay. So we get out, and it's a lot of potholes in the parking lot. It needs a little work. So we walk in, and the first thing I do before we get to the doors to go in, I get the phone out so I can show the ticket code or whatever to the person there that, we got our tickets, we're going to go in. So it's about 7:23, 7:24. We get there about 10 minutes before because we know we're going to have 20 minutes of previews. So we walk in. There is not a soul. I'm telling you, I'm not even fibbing here. There is not a soul in the lobby or behind the counter or at the check-in stand. There's no one there. I'm like, I hope everything is okay. I looked at Dylan. I go, what's going on? He goes, I don't know. There's nobody here. So there's nobody to check us in. Nobody to say, hey, you've got tickets? Okay. This is where you go. Theater to the left, theater to the right, blah, blah, blah. Nobody. I'm like, well, let's just wait here in the lobby for a couple of minutes and see if, maybe somebody's in the restroom. Maybe they're back in the office. Maybe they're helping one of the cleanup guys after another movie ended at another theater. Just hang out and see what happens. Another 3 or 4 minutes goes by. Nothing. So now it's almost 7:30. I'm like, well, we've already paid for our tickets. Nobody here knows we paid for our tickets, but we've got them, so let's just go in. So we walk in. I'm looking for somebody to check the phone. Nobody. So now we make the maze, the line up to the concession stands. There's nobody there. I mean, we're ready to spend. We're ready to go. Nobody's there. I'm like, what do we do? So I looked around looking for somebody. Got out of line, went down the hallway to the left and the right where they got the theater situated. Didn't see anybody. Nobody else was coming in the theater to watch the movies, like no other spectators were coming in. I'm like, boy, isn't this something? We could have walked in here without tickets and went to any theater we wanted and not had to pay a penny. Honestly, there was nobody there. So another couple of minutes goes by. Now it's 7:33, 7:34. Finally, this young lady comes out from, I don't know where she was. Big smile, real bubbly. Hey, can I help you? And I had my phone out with the code on it. She never even said, hey, can I see your tickets? Or what movie nothing. She said, how can I help you? What can I get you? So we got our stuff. Let me run this by you. Small popcorn. I mean small, like mini size. Large lemonade. Large Coke. Nachos and cheese. $43.75.
Ooh.
Ooh.
See why nobody was there.
Ooh. That's a lot. But, okay, and we got our stuff. We headed into the theater. There was only 3 people in that theater. Dylan and I and another gentleman came in like 2 minutes after the movie started. So, like, oh, here we are. Here we are, fella. So we reclined our seats back. We had our snacks and whatever, and we watched the movie normal. Absolutely loved it. I would highly recommend it.
Yeah, that looked like a pretty classic Bob Odenkirk
Oh,
role.
man, it was so Bob Odenkirk.
Right
it was
for
so
him.
good. It was so good. It was about an hour and 40, perfect time. You know what I mean? Not too long. And then we watched the whole movie, stayed till the end, and then walked out. We threw our trash away, checked down the other end of the hall. There was nobody there. There was nobody in the lobby. There was nobody behind the concession stands. I got my keys out and we left. But it was crazy. We literally could have walked in and not paid a penny. So that was that.
Was it clean in there?
Yeah. I mean, they take care of the place.
Wow. It was
but
comfortable.
There was just nobody. And like when we left the theater, it was about 9. I'm going to say about 9:20, 9:25. There was probably less than 10 cars in the parking lot.
That's crazy.
Which means there was really nobody there watching any of the movies. And I think they have a lot of screens there.
Yeah, they do. I remember when they built The Great Escape.
Wasn't it like at least 12 screens or 18 screens when they first built it?
Yeah.
I think I keep thinking Great Escape 18 or something. I don't know.
It's a big theater.
Yeah. But
it was a big deal when they built it.
Oh, yeah. It was.
That's when I lived in Massillon as a kid. So I remember when they were building it, we'd drive by and see it going up and be really excited because Massillon was going to have its own movie theater.
I mean, you can see it getting off 21. You can see it get on Lincoln Way. I'm like, but yeah, it was desolate.
You know what? That sounds like the perfect place to see a movie.
Well, yeah, for more.
Minus the price of the concessions.
Well, hey, if you play your cards right, maybe you don't even pay for your movie.
Yeah.
And you just buy the concession. So you end up making out okay.
It sounds like if you'd have just kept walking, you could have taken whatever you wanted into the movie theater. Brought a 6-pack with you.
I gotta tell you, we had a little conversation. I mean, it's probably not the conversation to have with your 18-year-old son about, hey, you know what? Maybe next time we come here,
he's got to learn about the temptation someday.
You know what I mean? So yeah, but we had a good time. But it was just weird that it was almost like a ghost town.
Yeah, that's almost unsettling.
Yeah. And the other part was it was a little creepy. And when we went in, like, I don't know if you got a chance to see the sky last night.
Oh yeah,
between like 7 and 8. Ooh.
Yeah,
it was eerie.
Big time.
Like it looked like half tornado, half apocalypse, it was weird. So I'm like, you know what? Let's just go in before something happens out here in the parking lot, because it was a really weird, eerie sky last night. It really, really was. All right, let's take a break. We got 23 minutes past the hour. Phone lines are open, 330-821-1310. We'll get back into the Sam Bourquin Show poll question of the day. What did you watch the most of, sports-wise, on TV this weekend? Guards, Cavs, Stanley Cup playoffs, NBA, OSU spring game, WrestleMania. Get those thoughts, get those comments in on all of our social media platforms. And we'll come back and we'll get into the Guards and Astros tonight and get you ready for On This Day in Sports History. It's all coming up here on 1310 WDPN.
AWP Safety, North America's leading traffic safety company, wishes the best of luck to Stark County student athletes this fall, and they need you. Join AWP as a protector for steady work and an important job keeping people safe. They offer paid training, certification, referral bonuses, and advancement opportunities. To apply, visit jobs.awpsafety.com. That's jobs.awpsafety.com.
Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? Safe Step walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub from an area of concern to a calming refuge. Call them today at 1-800-498-2098 and save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs and showers are proudly made in Tennessee and offer an ultra-low step-in, avoiding that difficult climb over a traditional bathtub wall. They also offer a variety of therapeutic benefits that may help soothe your aching muscles and joints, increasing your mobility, boosting your energy, and improving your sleep. Safe Step walk-in tubs are designed to easily fit your existing tub space and are often installed in as little as one day. Just dial 1-800-498-2098 today to save $1,600 and receive a free shower package. That's 1-800-498-2098 for a free no-obligation consultation and to save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs. Safety never felt so good.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because when people don't have to worry about where their next meal is coming from, they can truly thrive, like Marta.
And now we'll hear from our class valedictorian, who with our hard work never ceases to amaze us. Please welcome Marta Moreno.
And Alex.
Hey, Alex, how did the interview go?
I did it! I got the job! I can't believe it!
I knew it. Let's meet up later to celebrate.
And Diego.
Mom! I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow. feedingamerica.org/actnow. A public service announcement brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
All right. I got something to say. Yeah. It's better to burn out. Yeah. Than fade away.
Sam, glad you enjoyed the movie last night. Yeah, next time, just go ahead and walk in, see what happens.
Well, you obviously
I can't lie. I thought about it.
You clearly could have left that movie and just walked right into another movie.
Well,
nobody was going to stop you.
That's the other thing we thought about. If this would have been a Friday or Saturday night, we would have went to a movie that started at like 9:55 or 10. We absolutely would have done that. But, you know, then you're talking about getting home. By the time we would have gotten home, because it's about a half-hour drive from that theater to our house. If you go to a 10:15 movie, you're looking at getting home at midnight, 12:30. Not exactly what you want to do on a Sunday night. So we watched the one and we hit the road. Let me see here. Guardians and the Astros tonight. Okay, Cleveland, let's go. You got a team coming to town here now. That could be ripe for the picking. The Stros come in 8-15. They have not been playing well at home or on the road. Guardians are 13-10. I thought Cleveland should have. I thought they should have swept the Orioles. I really do. I know that's asking a lot over a 4-game series, but I really think that they should have swept that team. But again, it's hard. It's hard to do. Now, the Astros, they got Altuve. They got a couple of other holdovers, if you will, from the playoff years that have gone by. But, they don't have the crew that they had when they were banging on trash cans and cheating and hitting 458 home runs and stealing bases. They don't have that kind of roster. They got Jordan Alvarez. They got Jose Altuve. They got a couple of pitchers. Isaac Paredes. But this is not your grandmother's Houston Astros team. Okay. Spencer Arrighetti will pitch tonight for Houston. Slade Ciccone will be on the mound for Cleveland. Carrera, Alvarez, Altuve. That's your first 3 hitters in the lineup. And you got Walker, Paredes, Trammell, Diaz, Harris, Matthews. Guard's going to go with Quan, DeLauder, Jose, Manzardo, your top four. Hoskins will bat fifth, followed by George Valera, Juan Brito, Bo Naylor, and Brian Rocchio. Guards have won 2 in a row. They're 5-5 in their last 10. Stros 2-8 in their last 10. They have won 4 in a row. They've lost 4 in a row. Oh, tonight's first pitch, 35 degrees. And wind coming out of the northwest. That's going to be a miserable night at the ballpark. But if you're heading up, dress warm, go Guards. Time for a little On This Day in Sports History. How about this? Let's go back to 1912. Fenway Park opened. Yes, that Fenway Park opened as the home of the Boston Red Sox, and she still sits there all these years later. On this day in 1916, Chicago's Wrigley Field held its first Cubs game with the National League game at the ballpark. Chicago beat the Reds 7-6, and it took 11 innings. And on this day in 2003, the Tampa Bay Lightning beat the Washington Capitals 2-1 in the third overtime to win the series 4-2. It was the first time in the 11-year history of Tampa Bay franchise that they have advanced in the playoffs. Short and sweet. That is On This Day in Sports History. We'll take a break. The news and weather next.
The latest news and the current Alliance area weather forecast are up next on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 5:30. President Trump said Sunday the Navy blew a hole in an Iranian-flagged cargo ship before seizing the vessel. Sunday afternoon, Trump said the guided missile destroyer USS Spruance intercepted the vessel identified as the Tuska in the Gulf of Oman after it attempted to breach the blockade. Video released by U.S. Central Command confirmed the encounter, showing repeated warnings issued over several hours. CENTCOM said the Tuska was warned multiple times over a 6-hour period while sailing toward Iran's Bandar Abbas port before U.S. forces disabled its propulsion using its 5-inch Mk-45 gun, after which Marines boarded and secured the vessel, which remains in U.S. custody. 8 young people were killed early Sunday in Shreveport, Louisiana. The suspected shooter is also dead. He was identified as the children's father, 31-year-old Shamar Elkins. 10 people were struck by gunfire, according to police spokesperson Chris Bordelon. He described the incident as domestic in nature. The ages of the deceased range from 1 to approximately 14 years old. Some of the injured have been hospitalized. The man's wife was shot in the face and left fighting for her life. Another woman, thought to be his girlfriend, was shot at a nearby home. Elkins later fled and carried out a carjacking before being chased by police. Officers opened fire. He died at the scene. It's unclear if he was shot by police or died by suicide. 5 people were injured, including 3 University of Iowa students in an early Sunday shooting. Videos posted to social media show a fight in the street that escalated to shots fired. University issued an alert at 1:51 a.m., advising the public to stay away from the area. One of the injured was in critical condition. The other 4 are stable, according to police. No arrests have been made. Police also released information about 5 people of interest. The Iowa City Pedestrian Mall reopened Sunday morning. Japan issued an advisory for northern coastal areas for an increased risk of a possible larger quake following a 7.7 magnitude earthquake earlier Monday. The Cabinet Office and Japan Meteorological Agency said there's a 1% chance for a large quake occurring in the area over the next week or so. That's up from a 0.1% chance during normal times. The agency issued a tsunami alert following the tremor. A small tsunami was reported in some areas. 1 injury was reported. Nearly 1 in 10 births in 2023 in the United States came from illegal immigrant parents. The Pew Research Center revealed some 320,000 of the 3.6 million babies born that year were so-called anchor babies who would not qualify for birthright citizenship if President Trump's executive order is upheld by the Supreme Court. Pew found about 245,000 of those babies were born to mothers who were unauthorized immigrants and fathers who were not citizens or lawful permanent residents. About 15,000 were born to mothers who had temporary legal status and fathers who were not citizens or lawful permanent residents. The anchor baby births in 2023, the highest total since 2010, second year of the Obama administration. 325,000 babies were born to illegal immigrant parents. 45 degrees at 5:33. For WDPN News, I'm Clint Marshall.
Meteorologist Mark Johnson has the latest forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
Sunshine, but it's going to be chilly all afternoon long. Look for a high of 44 degrees. You're going to need that coat. And tonight, even colder. Another freeze warning in effect, mainly clear skies. Our low 28. I am Mark J. Weather from 3 News.
$13.10 WDPN. Welcome back to the Sam Bourquin Show. We've got about 26 minutes until we wrap it up for today. Hey, I want to thank my guests today, Fred Greetham from the Orange and Brown Report, and I want to thank Marcus Hartman from Press Pros Magazine. If you missed either one of those interviews, you want to check those out. They'll be up a little bit later on tonight on all of our social media platforms. Fred was talking about the Browns, the upcoming NFL draft, and what he thinks may happen there. And Marcus Hartman joined us from Press Pros Magazine. We talked a little Buckeyes spring game and maybe some renovation work due to the Ohio Stadium and to the Schottenstein Center here in the very near future. 330-821-1310 is our telephone number. That's 330-821-1310. Sam Bourquin Show poll question today. Great response today. My gosh, you guys were great today. How much, what sports did you watch the most of this weekend? There was a lot on. And some of it was like, you know, not just one day, but a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or a Saturday, Sunday kind of deal. But what did you watch the most of this weekend? Guardians? Did you watch the Cavs, maybe some NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, the Ohio State spring game? I know a lot of you watched WrestleMania over the weekend, but get your thoughts in, get your comments in on our social media platforms, or you can give us a ring at 330-821-1310. Rainsburg, you know what we forgot to do today?
What did we forget?
We got some tickets to give away. We'll do that here at the top of the hour.
Yes, we will. I'm going to go get that paper right now.
I wrote a little note down, but I didn't bring in the papers per se. But we are going to have some tickets to give away to the Ohio North-South All-Star Football Classic that is coming up this Saturday at Paul Brown Tiger Stadium in Massillon. A couple of great All-Star games coming up. We've got tickets for you, and you just have to be a certain caller, and we'll put those in your hands. So stay tuned. Your chance to win coming up here right before the end of the show. So if you want to go check out some great high school football, the North-South All-Star Classics at Paul Brown Tiger Stadium this Saturday, we'll give you a chance to win coming up here right before the top of the hour.
I had a wicked case of the Mondays today. Man, I don't care if that gets my ass kicked.
It happens. It happens, man. I want to give you a couple more nuggets on the Guardians game tonight, and we'll move off of that. Who's hot, who's not? Jose Altuve is 4 for 14 with the series against the Cardinals over the weekend. Cam Smith 0 for 12 in his last 4 games. Isaac Paredes has just 1 hit in his last 6 games. That's a 1 for 19 deal. So that's what they call not hot. For the Guards, Chase DeLauder is 1 for 11 in that span against the Orioles over the weekend. Last 9 games, talk about pretty good. Jose Ramirez, 11 for his last 30. 7.5 the total tonight. Guardians are minus 122 on the money line. If you go with the dog, you get the Astros at plus 102. And we got to shout out our guy Hedgie. He got engaged after the game yesterday. On the field, he's been playing pretty well. He's been hitting the ball a little bit. Obviously, behind the plate, he's been masterful. And yesterday, after the game, got down on a knee, proposed to his girlfriend, Lexi Dickinson, And it happened on the field, right on the third base line. It was all over on the big scoreboard last night. It said, "Lexi, will you marry me?" He got down on the knee. She said yes. And it's all good to go. After the game, Hedgie said, "Oh, yeah, lots of nerves. Lots of nerves." He says he's always nervous for baseball games. Obviously, that's a good team over there, Orioles. We wanted to win the series. We had to stay in the present. But knowing that there was some activities coming up after the game today, I was really nervous. Very special day to be able to soak it all in. So congratulations to Austin Hedges and Lindsay Dickinson. They are engaged to be married. And good luck to both. That's pretty cool story right there. And gosh, said he was going to do it either way, even if they lost. But you just want to win. You want to win before you propose to your girlfriend, right? It's just I got to wonder in the past if anybody's had plans for, a little while to propose and they were going to do it on the field or on the court after a game. I wonder if it's ever happened to where the team lost or it was just a brutal way to lose a game. And they said, you know what? We're not going to be proposing tonight. It's not good. It's not a good vibe. I'm sure that's happened over the years, but Hedgie said he was going to do it either way. Even if the Guardians would have lost, he was going to propose to his girlfriend, but thank goodness they won the game yesterday, and it all worked out. So that was good to see. That was good to see. Also, speaking of social media, Randy Montgomery was the guest speaker today at the Pro Football Hall of Fame Luncheon Club. Forgot to mention this to you. If you want to go back and watch that in its entirety, all you have to do is go to the Q92 Radio Facebook page, the Q92 Radio Sports page on X, or WDPN on X, and you can go back and watch that in its entirety. Randy, great guy, great coaching career at Triway, great coaching career at North Canton Hoover. I know he finished up over at West Branch for a couple of years. One of the better people you're going to ever run into, Randy Montgomery. So if you missed his speech at the Pro Football Hall of Fame Luncheon Club today, make sure you go back and check it out on our social media platforms. You will certainly enjoy that. Got a message here. Sam, it's been a while ago. Or no, he says, Sam, I know movies aren't attended like they used to be, but do you think that the shooting that happened there in the lobby about a year ago had anything to do with the attendance? I forgot about that. I completely forgot about that. So yeah, that'd probably keep a few people away. That was an unfortunate situation.
You were in the danger zone. You didn't even realize.
I didn't even know it. I just forgot about it. I mean, you know me. Anything is 5 minutes old, I forget about it.
That's most people nowadays.
Let alone over a year. I'm like, I just completely forgot about it. Ohio State spring game on Saturday was good watching a little bit. Now, they weren't, tackling people and driving them into the ground and all that stuff. But Chris Henry, I think, is going to be a star at wide receiver. I like our backup QB. I like Julian Sand. I think he's going to have a good year. But holy cow, man, the Big Ten this year in the schedule for Ohio State. I mean, let's be honest. They've had a couple breathers the last couple of years as far as the non-conference was concerned. But you got Texas this year. You got Indiana. You've got Oregon. You've got Illinois. You've got Michigan. It's not going to be easy. Now, with the way the playoffs are, you no longer have to worry about going undefeated and getting into the postseason. I can see this Ohio State team dropping a few. I can see them going 10-2, but I can also see them going into the playoffs. I mean, you could lose 3 I think we will see a 3-team loss in the playoff at one point. I don't know if it'll be this year. But I for sure think, obviously 12-0 you're getting in. I think 11-1 you're getting in. I think 9-2 you can get in. Or 9-3. I think you can 10-2 I think you can get in. 9-3, now we're on that edge. But Ohio State's got a very tough schedule. I know a lot of Buckeye fans, hey, just put the scarlet and gray on the helmet and the Buckeye leaves, they go out there and they can play and they can win. Hey, Indiana's not going anywhere. Oregon's not going anywhere. Dante Moore's back again. Penn State's going to be so much better with Matt Campbell as the head coach. Michigan State's going to be so much better with Fitzgerald. Pat Fitzgerald is the head coach. Illinois is just going to keep getting better. We told you about Oregon. USC is going to be good, right? Washington is going to be good. You got your cellar dwellers, you got Rutgers, you got Maryland, you got Northwestern. But Iowa, they're a pain in the rear end. Minnesota's, row the boat guy. I think his act is kind of worn a little thin. I think, who else am I from? Oh, Wisconsin. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to be like. There's so many teams in the league. You think of Big Ten. Oh no, there's 18 teams. You forget about some of the other teams that are in the league. Purdue, I forgot about Purdue for crying out loud. But it's going to be a gauntlet this year for Ohio State. It's going to be tough. And can Indiana do what they did again from a year ago? That team came out of nowhere. The Fighting Cignettis, they came out of nowhere. They did the transfer portal to a T. They recruited to a T. They found selfless players to a T. And they went out there and they were what? They were all about the team. That's all they cared about. Everybody bit into it's all about the team. They were buying what Curt Cignetti was selling. And he did an unbelievable job with that team. They never went off course. They had that, they had that really tough game with Penn State. Mendoza had to lead them down the field at the end. Heck, you know what? I literally was going to write them off before the Oregon game. And they went out to Eugene, Oregon, and they beat the Ducks on the road with another late drive by Fernando Mendoza. And I was like, okay, this team's for real now. Let's start watching this quarterback, Mendoza. Let's start watching these wide receivers. My God, they had 3-4 great wide receivers. On any given play, they were lining up. They were fantastic, making one-handed grabs, keeping one foot in bounds. They had guys that were willing to block down the field for their teammates. I was like, whew. All right, let me look at these road graders. Let me see what they got on the line. Big, strong dudes. Okay. Let's look at the other side. Let's look at the defense. Big, fast dudes. The team. Yeah, we saw what Indiana did. They rode that baby all the way to the national championship. It still sounds and looks a little weird. Indiana football, right? Indiana football. No, nobody did it better than Curt Cignetti. And look here. They run the table. They win all the playoff games. They win the national championship. Another great recruiting class. Another great portal class. And then guess what? You know what happens when you win? Alum write checks. Sports fans and boosters write big, fat checks. Now they got more money that they know what to do with. Some of the heavy hitters were just peeling off stacks of cash, including Mark Cuban. You mean to tell me this team's going to go backwards? You mean to tell me this team isn't going to keep fighting the good fight under Coach Cignetti? They're the team to beat. They're the team to beat right now. It's crazy to me when I pull up their regular season schedule. And look, their regular season schedule, their non-conference schedule is Cupcake City. It's Cupcake City. But you know what? It worked out just fine for them last year. Indiana doesn't even leave Bloomington for a college football game until October the 3rd. They open up at home with North Texas, Howard, Western Kentucky, Northwestern. Tell me that doesn't have 4-0 written all over it. Before Kurt Cignetti got there, you could just roll up to Bloomington, roll up to Memorial Stadium. Hey, where can I sit today? What's that going to cost me? You can't get in for the game against North Texas for under $110. That's their opener. Indiana football, hottest ticket in town. Then they go to Rutgers and Nebraska, back-to-back, October 3rd and 10th. Not losing those games. And then Ohio State comes to Bloomington. Saturday, October the 17th. Hoosiers will be 6-0, and they will be undefeated. I don't know what the Buckeyes will be. Maybe have a loss. Tickets as low as $304 to get into that game right now for Ohio State, Indiana. Then the Hoosiers go to Ann Arbor the following week to play Michigan. Then they're home to Minnesota. They're home to USC. They go to Washington, and they finish up at home with the old Oaken Bucket game against Purdue on November the 28th. That's Thanksgiving weekend. So the toughies for Indiana. Home against Ohio State, at Michigan, home against USC, at Washington, maybe. The game at Nebraska could be a little tough because that could be a look ahead, but we saw that look ahead doesn't really happen with Kurt Cignetti. I'm not saying Ohio State's not going to have a chance to win the Big Ten. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is, if you think Indiana's going to roll over and just say, oh, that was cute, that was fun for 1 year, we're going to go back to being the old Indiana? No, sir. No, ma'am. Better be ready to play the Hoosiers this year in Big Ten college football and non-conference college football. They're not going anywhere anytime soon. Not going anywhere anytime soon. And boy, they work in the portal. Whew. I want to see what the quarterback situation is going to look like. They lost a lot of kids, but they got just enough back. And I think they did just enough with the portal, just enough with the recruits, that I think they're going to be really, really good again. Let's take a break. Coming up on 53 minutes past the hour, 330-821-1310. You can always text the show at 330-924-708 if you are hanging out with us. And I see a lot of you out there on the Q92 Radio YouTube channel. We got the chat open. You can fire away. And we'll come back and we'll get back into things before we close up shop on a Monday on 1310.
Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? Safe Step walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub from an area of concern to a calming refuge. Call them today at 1-800-498-2098 and save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs and showers are proudly made in Tennessee and offer an ultra-low step-in, avoiding that difficult climb over a traditional bathtub wall. They also offer a variety of therapeutic benefits that may help soothe your aching muscles and joints, increasing your mobility, boosting your energy, and improving your sleep. Safe Step walk-in tubs are designed to easily fit your existing tub space and are often installed in as little as one day. Just dial 1-800-498-2098 today to save $1,600 and receive a free shower package. That's 1-800-498-2098 for a free no-obligation consultation and to save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs. Safety never felt so good.
Here's the deal. We gotta set ourselves up. See, retirement is the long game. We gotta make moves and make them early. Set up goals. Don't worry about a setback. Just save up and stack up to reach them. Let's put ourselves in the right position. Pre-game to greater things.
Start building your retirement plan at thisispretirement.org. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
And we're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for the... And there they go, almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fam favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
About 4 minutes till we wrap things up here on a Monday afternoon. Don't forget, we will be back with you tomorrow beginning at 3 right here on AM1310 WDPN. We'll get you ready for the draft. Got a couple of interview requests out. We'll see what comes back there. We'll rack up the guards in the Stros from tonight. We'll talk about the Cavs tomorrow, how their game 2 against the Magic goes. Lots of stuff to get to. So tune in tomorrow, 3 o'clock, right here at 1310 WDPN. And, of course, all of our social media platforms.
Scooter checked in on YouTube a little while ago. He says, I don't got Peacock, and I refuse to pay for it for one game. Freaking NBA. Says, I'm waiting for the Browns to overthink the draft and do something stupid.
Yeah, don't forget tonight, Cavs. I'm glad you brought that up. NBC Sports Network
and
Peacock. That's it. That's the only place you can get it.
I don't know who's paying for Peacock. I don't understand how that's still a thing.
What about Paramount Plus? Is that a big thing? More than Peacock?
Yeah, I would think so. Paramount Plus has a lot more content than Peacock. Like Paramount recently secured the rights to South Park entirely, so all of South Park is now on Paramount Plus.
Who are they hooked in with? Is it CBS?
Paramount is part of the, I believe Paramount, Warner, Paramount, Discovery is all the same umbrella.
Okay.
So like this, Warner Brothers, I think, owns all that. No, I'm sorry. They've been mixing it up so much. Was Paramount trying to buy? Yes.
Because I thought Paramount.
I thought I had it
with CBS company.
I think Paramount's.
Because I know Peacock is NBC. I think Hulu is kind of ABC.
Yeah.
And then Fox is whatever.
Paramount Plus.
But yeah. Network. Cavs are on NBC Sports Network tonight and Peacock. That's it. Or you can listen to it on the old radio. Do it that way.
Okay, Paramount CBS, I think.
Yep,
okay.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Okay. It's so confusing anymore because for a while there, Warner's was just trying to buy up everything, and then Warner decided they didn't want to be a company anymore thanks to Zaslav, so he's just trying to sell it into a shell. So who knows? Who knows who owns what? Because, I mean, who knows? It's always changing.
What is going on? It's so hard to keep up.
Well, it's really so funny because they just decided that Ticketmaster and Live Nation is a monopoly.
Oh,
so
yeah.
all the media companies are currently trying to become monopolies, which is great. So we'll see how that works out.
Yeah, don't do that. It may take 50 years, but you'll get found out. They'll catch you like they caught those crooks with Ticketmaster and
real-time
and Live Nation. They'll get you. This is going to take a while because there's other stuff to worry about. All right, that is going to wrap up the show here today. Anything I wanted to bring up here before we go? Oh, yeah, don't forget there's a frost warning tonight, so make sure you take care of your plants and all that stuff, and keep the aminals inside tonight if you can. It's going to be chilly. Going to be a cold start to the day tomorrow. All right, thanks to Ryan Rainsberg again for doing a great job on the other side of the glass. Appreciate that. Always thank all of you for joining us.
We got tickets.
Oh, crap.
We have tickets to give away.
All right,
we
got tickets.
Keep forgetting.
Here we go. We got 2 tickets to give away to the 2026 Ohio North-South All-Star Football Classic. Those games are going to be played this Saturday, Paul Brown Tiger Stadium in Massillon. You want to go? I got a pair of tickets for you. All you got to do is be first caller. 330-821-1310. That number to call, 330-821-13 tickets, and those tickets are yours. Caller number 1, 330-821-1310. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Don't forget, go Guards, go Cavs, go Bucks, go Browns. Good night, everybody.